Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there's a form down in the description right now where you can put your questions. And as long as you get them in there relatively soon, there's a really good chance that they're going to get answered here on the show today. I also want to let you know that today's stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you do all kinds of stuff on your YouTube channel. They help you optimize your videos for discovery, help you make sure that you're using the right thumbnails through their testing feature. They have 90 different tools within the one tool, within TubeBuddy for YouTube content creators. You can try it free and see what it can do for you at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. I actually have a link for that in the description as well. In addition to that, this stream is co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Shameless plug. But every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that I use StreamYard is because one, it's super easy to use. Two, it's very reliable. And it's actually saved me a handful of times as well, because everything is held together in the cloud and they do all the heavy lifting for you in the cloud. So you don't need a big, strong computer for it or anything like that. And the really cool thing is every now and then we'll have like an internet problem here because I live out in the boonies. So I'll have like an internet problem or, like the power will flicker or something like that. And my connection, everything will go down. But since StreamYard holds me open in the cloud, I can just join the stream on my phone, let people know that I'll be back, in just a few minutes. And it just keeps everything open and rolling for us. So we don't have to restart the stream or anything crazy like that. So you can try that at StreamYard.com. And again, I've got links to that and a bunch of other very useful things for you as a YouTube content creator down in the description of this stream right now. And look, if you are watching this or listening to this on the replay through the podcast version, I encourage you to skip around because there's a lot of information shared during these live streams. We talk about tons of stuff. And because of that, I don't want you to miss out on any good information that's going to help you with your YouTube channel. So if we start talking about one thing or we start answering one question, feel free to skip around a little bit if it's something that doesn't resonate with you so that you can find exactly what it is that you want. Hopefully, YouTube is rolling out this automatic captioning feature. So hopefully, or chapters feature. I'm sorry. So hopefully, it's going to be awesome because it's going to start captioning these live streams. My fingers are so crossed for that because that'll be awesome for everybody. That'll be awesome for me. That'll be awesome for you guys being able to come back on the replay and skip through. So really, really excited today to get to that particular feature. But I'm also excited today to get to the actual stream. So I hope everybody's doing awesome. Hope that you have had a wonderful week and that you have your notepads out ready to rock and roll today. ASMR Dream More, what is going on? Nice to see you in here. Doug Houston, YT, what's up, my man? Mr. Camera Junkie, welcome to the stream today. Tom Nash, what's up, man? Lizer, what is up? Lizer, Beast Gaming, nice to see you in here as well. Super Weapons, nice to see you. Albitastic, man, you were holding it down, man, before we went live today. So thanks for thanks for all the conversation and all the welcoming people as they were coming in and all that stuff. Super appreciate it. Thanks for doing that. And so hope everybody's doing fantastic today. So what we are going to do, if this is your first time here, is basically I'm going to be answering your questions throughout the stream. So I've got a form down in the description, but in addition to that, and I really encourage you to get your question down there because even if it doesn't come up in the stream, which right now it will because there's not a lot of questions, but even if it doesn't get answered on the stream, I also use this for video content, podcast ideas, and things like that. And anytime that I use a question that somebody has directly asked me, you'll get credit for that. So so hopefully you'll get your question answered today, but if not, hopefully it'll come out in like a video or podcast or something like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first question. So the very first question today is coming from Ross Baxter. What's up, Ross, man? I hope you're doing awesome. And Ross has been on YouTube for a year or more. It's an art podcast channel. Goal of the channel is to help artists find their dream job. And the question says, hey, Nick, thanks for answering my question. My question is, I'm currently at 3,500 subscribers, and I was wondering, with an audience of my size, would you say affiliate marketing for higher ticket products is better than the low cost products? I've been breaking down products that I feel is best for my audience, such as an Adobe program. Would be great to hear your thoughts. Thanks for everything that you do. So first off, who here does affiliate marketing through your YouTube channel? If you do affiliate marketing through your YouTube channel, just say me, so that so I know that it's you and that this question is going to directly relate to you as well. But when it comes to affiliate marketing, the thing is, in my opinion, you should do all. So if you have the type of content where you can promote something, like a high ticket item, then in that case, make some videos about it, and also make some videos about some lower tier things and all that. Because if you have people coming into your YouTube channel, those are people that are interested in all kinds of different things and, different budgets and that sort of thing. So because of that, if you promote something high tier off of your channel and you make that available for the people that see the value in that, then that's awesome. If you are promoting something off of your YouTube channel that is just easier for more people to get just because, it's cheaper, but it still adds tons of value, then that can be a win as well. I actually have a friend of mine that has a YouTube channel, and because they use the YouTube channel for business, they've actually generated over $3 million through his YouTube channel in leads, actually that have converted into sales, but they generated $3 million in revenue from a very, very small YouTube channel. So, there's a lot of power in doing high ticket things, but then there's also, a lot of power in doing lower ticket things. And another friend of mine, actually, he is also just crushing it with, with a higher end product. I think his is like $5,000 roughly. Not YouTube related. It's a totally different, genre of content. But his product is, I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000 a pop. So, but he's crushing it too. And I don't even think he's got 10,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel yet. Maybe he just recently crossed it. So in terms of affiliate marketing and just kind of, saying, should you do one or the other? I recommend that you mix it up and that you offer different things to people. And at the core of it, that you make sure that whatever it is that you're offering is just a fantastic fit for the people that are coming in and interacting with your content. So next up on our list here, and all you newcomers that are coming into the stream right now, welcome to the stream today. I hope that you have had a fantastic week. You are coming in like we're just getting started, so you haven't really missed anything. We've just been kind of talking about affiliate marketing. That was the first question, and we are continuing on. So if you're new here today, just give me a hashtag new, just so I can identify you as somebody that is new to the stream. So maybe I can show you some love, right here in the stream, pinning you to the screen, that kind of good stuff. So while I'm waiting for those to come in, we've got Primetime KD. Primetime KD said we got RKT Vlogs China is new. We got Mr. Cake as well, is also new to the stream today. Hey, Hybrid Steel, what's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic, Mike. We've got Shark Scrapper in the house. We got Weeb Impact is new. The Luke Cortman Show is new. Sounds like a show to me. AD Jane, what is going on? Alina and David Tomer, what is going on? Hope that you are doing fantastic as well. Welcome to the stream. Jamaican Farmers Hunt also. Hope everybody here is just doing fantastic. What's up, Beanie Draws in the house? I hope that you are doing great, my man. So the next question that we have here on our list is from Primetime KD. Primetime KD says that they do gaming and reaction content. The goal is to reach 100 subscribers. Says, how do I become less lazy when editing? This is a great question. And the reason this is a great question is because how many people here, and look, let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest with each other here. How many people here have been going through an edit and you get like halfway through the edit and you're like, you know what, that half is like great. Let me kind of just speed through the rest of this edit. If that's you, just give me a hashtag me. I know I've done that before, more than one occasion myself. So, so I know what that's like. But here, 1 second. I want to get some boom. But yeah, so, in terms of, being less lazy when you're editing, it really comes down to giving yourself time. If you give yourself time, then that gives you enough time to be able to, just work on it, to be able to do what it is that you need to do, with that piece of content and, to be able to, finish it for the day and then maybe revisit it with a fresh set of eyes so that you can, just kind of give it a good look over and make sure that it is, to your standard before you put it out into the internet. So when it comes to becoming less lazy, just think to yourself like, hey, every piece of content that I put out on my YouTube channel represents me in some way and represents what I'm doing in some way. So because of that, if I want to represent myself in the best possible way, then I'm going to try to make sure that my edits are solid as well. So, that's something that, an approach that I would encourage you to take in that situation. So really quick, you might have some audio coming in here just a little bit loud. I'm actually going to put some music on here in the background. So if it turns on loud for just a second, there we go. Let me widen this out so that I can turn the volume down on this puppy. And we'll take this one all the way down, bump it up 1, and ready to rock and roll. Okay. So let's see here. Next up on our list today, Albie Tastic says editing drives them nuts. Tell you what, YouTube is the wrong thing if editing drives you nuts. Or you can use a service to edit your videos. You can hire people to do that. We have one called vidcharge.com. I got a link to that down in the description if you're looking for somebody to edit your videos. We can take care of you over there too. The Luke Cortman Show, who is new to the stream today, says that they upload 1 time per week or more. It's a comedy podcast. The goal of the channel is to build an audience and provide quality comedy for viewers and listeners. The question says, hey, Nick, do you have any advice on growing a comedy podcast on YouTube? And do you think short clips about popular topics would help my show gain traction? I think you're on the right path there. So one of the things that I would recommend in this situation is if you have a podcast, I would also have like a clips channel of some kind that you can put, little excerpts from what it is that you're doing, like little clips of, little highlight moments of your podcast. Because, if you have like a long podcast, if it's like 5 or like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or something, not that big of a deal. But if you have a podcast that's like an hour long, then you're asking for a huge commitment for people that have never interacted with that podcast before. And I'm not saying that you can't get it. And I'm not saying that you can't do well if you just, upload 1 hour long podcast. But what I'm saying is if you want to give yourself that additional advantage, then in that case, I would upload your long form, and then I would take clips of that out, and I would put clips of that up on another channel. And the reason that I would do that is because, one, that makes every piece of content on that channel just easy to consume. You have a lower commitment from the potential viewers when they see the timestamp on there or when they actually click into it. Everybody's got 5 minutes, everybody's got 10 minutes, but an hour, you start becoming a little bit more, just difficult, to please that hour time slot. So because of that, yeah, absolutely. The path or the road that you're on here with this for the, doing the short clips version, I would absolutely give that a shot. So let's see here. This almost sounds like it's loud. Is the music coming? Hey, what's up, Moat Zone? What's up? Hope you're doing fantastic. Is the music coming through okay on your end, or is it like too loud, or is it like too soft? Like, what do you let me know what's going on. Drost Video, what is up, Herman, man? I hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you swinging by. Thanks for swinging by the stream today, man. Hope that you are doing great. Let's see here. So next up, okay, so we've got one person saying no music at all. Okay. That is cool. It's too low. Okay, let me bump this up just one little notch. There we go. Okay, so I had a super chat come in. Let me go and answer that really quick. And then another one also just showed up. So the very first one was from Salad Cream Boy. Super chat says, still a small channel trying to monetize. I just opened a Spreadshop store. Do I keep the link in the description or mention somewhere in the video too? So what I would do is I would keep the link in the description, because then in that case, if you decide ever in the future to change shops or anything like that, then you can actually use TubeBuddy's bulk update feature to look for that link and then change that link into something else. If you burn it into your video, then it's in that video. And then like if anything out of your control happens to where, maybe they end up updating the URLs 5 years down the road and you have a video that's driving tons of merch sales and they update that video, then you would still be leading people to, or they update their URL, which is the actual, with the code on the back and all of that. Then, you would be sending people to something that maybe would be down to where they wouldn't be able to actually, get in there and actually purchase your merch. So because of that, put the link in your description and let people know in your video that you have links in the description. So for example, you can just do something simple like this, right? Link is in the description. So when you mention your merch, or if you, have it on, you can mention, hey, this shirt, blah, 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 and then just mention, link is in the description, maybe have a little graphic pop up just to, spread that awareness for the people that are just kind of half listening. Okay. So next up on our list, let me make sure that my mix minus isn't on. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Now the music will be coming through. All right. Yeah, my mix minus was on, so it's probably coming through a little bit loud now. So I turned it down 1 notch. So let me know your thoughts. Okay, so next up here we've got let's see here, Shivam super chat. Chinuja. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not. So it took me 3.5 years to reach 7,500, then 3 months to almost 50,000. Now, as I started to share more videos on finance and crypto, people love my take. Any advice on growing from 50 to 100? If you've transitioned into finance and crypto and people are digging that, just go nose down. So another thing that I recommend that you do is look at all of the channels that are talking about finance and crypto and go to their video page, sort by popular, and look for the stuff that's recent. Like if it was popular a year ago, not that big of a deal. I mean, it can be, but like the surface thing that you want to do right now is you want to look to see if they have any really popular videos in the past, month, so that you can just kind of look and see what they were talking about, how they were structuring the title, what they were doing on their thumbnails and that sort of thing. And do that for every finance and crypto channel that you can find so that you can start to uncover like, hey, for the finance crowd, for the crypto crowd, this is the stuff they care about. This is how I speak to them through the title. This is the type of imagery that I use in the thumbnail to like really grab their attention. But right now, all of that is hot. Like the topic. The one thing that I really love about, everybody going inside is that, it's caused a lot of people to become aware of a lot of things in terms of just like finance and all of that anyway. So, like right now is like the time to like be into, to be producing that type of content. Same with crypto is, it's just kind of like this. So yeah, like right now is the time for that. But in terms of, accelerating things, other things that you want to do is go into your YouTube analytics. And when you go into your analytics down, if you scroll down, one of the things that you're going to see in that initial quick view is they're going to give you your latest high performing videos, basically the videos over the date range that you choose that have brought in the most views. And just keep in mind when you're publishing new content that the views that are coming in and that are driving the channel topically, you want to make sure the next pieces of content that you publish, if you're going for that acceleration, right? You want to make sure that the next pieces of content that you publish are somewhat in alignment with what it is that those people are coming in for. So let's say, for example, since you're talking about crypto, let's say that you find out or that you notice that like, these three coins seem to be driving like all of my traffic. But when I talk about these other ones, people don't, really get into it that much. Lean really hard into those three, as long as they're, with how volatile all that is, as long as they're still relevant, then lean, really hard, into those. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we've got Create Perfect. Roger Wakefield in the house. What's up, man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Weeb Impact. Nice to see you here as well. Says, let's see here. I've reached almost 2,000 subscribers and my videos are doing great. Any tips? Yeah, keep going, right? Go into your YouTube analytics. Like anybody here that is getting any type of success on your YouTube channel right now, like if things are like, hey, I was doing this, but now things are getting better. If you're in that situation, go in and try to uncover why. Because, a lot of content creators, they'll just publish content. And then when things start going well, it'll go well, but they won't really know why it's going well, or they won't really know what's going on. They'll just notice like, hey, I'm getting a lot more views, but they don't know why. So they can't really lean into it to, to take advantage of the, the influx in traffic or the influx in viewership. So because of that, I really recommend that if your channel's starting to lift in any way, shape or form, you're starting to do better than before, really go through the process of trying to learn how to use your YouTube analytics to uncover information about why the videos are doing well. So little things you can keep track of is, like for my click-through rate, when I talk about these specific things, how many impressions do I generally get to where I can maintain a click-through rate of about whatever that baseline is on your channel. With that, do I have like how far are people getting in my videos in terms of watch time? How many people are completing the videos? Am I getting a lot of people clicking on end screens? Yes or no? If no, what can I do? What am I doing in my end screens to where I can look at that and say, okay, if I'm currently not getting a lot of people clicking on my end screens, but I am getting a lot of people completing the video, then in that case, maybe I need to work on the call to action where I recommend, that next video that they watch. Maybe I need to reword how I'm saying things there. Maybe I need to build up that click a little bit in terms of trying to sell them into that click and explaining the relevance before you let them know that video is there to click on. So those types of things are what you should be doing right now, so that you can go in and start to really understand and get a grip on why things are doing well on your YouTube channel right now. Create Imperfect says releasing high quality documentaries once a month or release less produced content weekly. Which do you believe is the best approach until I'm able to go full time? So with this, in terms of the best approach, since you're not full time right now, like if you have another job and plus your social life and, you know, all of that good stuff, I would do whatever works best into your schedule. So if you're putting out epic documentaries and you know how to get attention to those documentaries, then once a month can be okay. There's a guy, he has a YouTube channel. It's called James Janney, I believe. And that's what he does. He just puts out, you know, these random documentaries, and they're awesome though. And because of that, like his very first one did awesome, second one awesome, third one awesome, and like everything he puts out, people absolutely love it. So, you know, if you can get into something like that, then you're fine just going, you know, once a month. But in terms of the weekly content, you would have to think like, okay, can I crank out an entire documentary, you know, in a week and mix that, you know, even though it might be a lower quality one, would I even be able to mix that into my lifestyle, right? So what I would do in your case is I would actually think of the time that you have first, because the last thing that you want to do right now is burn yourself out because you're trying to do, you know, like all of these things all of the time in terms of work, family, friends, YouTube, you know, any hobbies that you have and all of that. So the thing that I'd recommend to you is instead of doing, you know, instead of just going for it for the sake of like, hey, which would be, you know, the best thing for the channel right now, I would actually think of it in terms of like long-term sustainability. So if you think that you can dedicate a certain amount of time each week to working on that 1 month documentary, then in that case, that might be the win if your documentary turns out awesome. If your documentary does not turn out awesome, or you can't package it correctly from the outside, then you might want to just kind of rethink, you know, what's going on. But, you know, I would definitely make sure that you are sharing that into places like Reddit where they have documentaries and that type of thing as well, so that when you do publish that video, you're putting it in front of, you know, the right crowd when you actually, you know, start putting it out there. Let's see here. So as we keep on looking through this list here, we've got push the music button. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I got to turn it up here just a little bit more if you can't hear it. Yeah, I can hear it a little bit on my end. So yeah, let me know if that's any better there for the music. Super awesome channel. You are indeed in a live. Welcome to the live stream today. I hope that you are doing super awesome. Okay, so next question that we have here on our list, Paul Peck Drywall Tube. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. Next question that we have here on the list, we've got Geo Zoo. Geo Zoo says they upload when they have time. It's an educational channel. They do it for fun. And says, hey, Nick, how to direct traffic from one very popular video to another other than using in-screen elements? Have a great day.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay. So if you are having one video and that one video is getting a lot of traction, you're getting a lot of people viewing that video, the very first thing that you should do is, of course, you mentioned the end screen. So you want to make sure that your end screen is not just linking to one video, but in this case, if you have a video that's driving a lot of traffic, link that into a playlist of relevant content. So build a playlist out and then link to that playlist instead of one video. In addition to that, make sure that you have links going to, in your video description, going to relevant content. Relevance, the key, the important thing to think about here. But I would also put links in your description that lead people to other videos for the people that go there. I would also make sure that you're pinning a comment and that you're telling people, hey, you know, watch this next. This video is about, you know, X, Y, Z. And then you put a link in your pinned comment. And when you do that, if you're not familiar with pinning comments, all you do is write a comment on your own video. And then over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a 3-dot menu. You want to click on that 3-dot menu, and then it's going to give you the option to pin the comment. And then that's going to shoot that to the top of your comment section for anybody that happens to go down and start leaving you comments. In addition to that, another thing that I would do is I would take that video, if you have other videos that are similar in topic, or it makes sense for the people that are watching that popular video to watch some of the other content in terms of that, you know, they're interested in this, which means that they're probably interested in this type of thing. Then in that case, what you'd want to do is you'd want to put together a playlist and then mark that playlist as a series playlist as well. With the series playlist, one thing that YouTube tells us in the YouTube Creator Academy is that when you have a series playlist, that you are increasing the likelihood of YouTube showing the other videos in that playlist next to the other videos in that playlist when people are watching it. So that can help you, as long as people are responding to the other content, that can help you slide your own content up into those next up spots and things like that, as long as people are responding to it. So those are just a few ideas for you. In addition to that, I would make sure, let's see here. Oh yeah, in addition to that, I would make sure that from time to time, since that video is a proven performer for you, put it into a schedule, and from time to time, put that video out in your community feed as well. If you have one, for the sake of, just bringing additional attention to it, just from time to time, just because it's a proven performer for you on your channel. Brendo Tarot Card Readings, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we have Brazen F. Brazen F says they have a vlogging gaming challenge video. And the goal of the channel says, I'm uploading because I think it's fun. It's a fun thing to do in my spare time. My question is, how do I get more subscribers? Because I only have 80 subs and the count won't go up anymore. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So here's the thing. If you're uploading just for fun, just for something to do in the spare time, just have fun with it, right? Just enjoy that. Like as soon as you say like, hey, I'm, how do I get more subscribers? Then you're not just uploading for fun. You're uploading for fun plus trying to grow the YouTube channel, which changes everything. So if you're uploading for fun, just upload, just upload for fun. Have fun. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Just upload, and you'll get viewers coming in that will that will resonate with you, right? But when it comes to converting people into subscribers, then that's where everything changes. So what you have to make sure that you're doing in your content is you have to make sure that it's very clear the value that you're bringing to the viewers in each individual video that you publish. It's also very important that you make sure that you demonstrate that value, or that you spread the awareness about that value when people are watching your content as well. So for example, how do you do that? So when it comes to spreading awareness about what it is that you're doing, one thing that you can do is you can have a little graphic that pops up that just says something about, for more, let's just say that because we had the finance channel earlier. Let's just say your finance channel or your gaming channel on, actually, you are a gaming channel. But one thing that you can do is you can say, for more gaming videos like this, or for more COD videos, or for more Fortnite videos, or whatever type of content it is that you make, remember to subscribe. Or for more, COD tips and tricks, remember to subscribe. Just a little graphic that pops up. And what you're doing there is you're letting people know that you have more content like the content that they're watching right there. Because as you all know, if you look in your YouTube stats for each individual video that you publish, if you're doing things right, then you're going to have a very large percentage of your viewership that is not subscribed to your YouTube channel. So having those little graphics in there is just one way that you can spread awareness to them about what it is that you're doing. Now, you can also do that verbally, but if you're just getting started, I recommend that you just have a little graphic that pops up and does it, so that you can just focus on getting the viewer into the content that they came in for. And you can just focus on that process until you get your watch time up and all of that. And then once you get the ball rolling, then you can start experimenting with, actually doing calls to action in your videos and just letting people know, for example, like, hey, I'm Nick, I'm Nick on the Mr. Cake channel. Sorry, Mr. Cake, taking over your channel. But like, hey, I'm Nick on the Mr. Cake channel. Hey, welcome to Mr. Cake. My name is Nick. Here we upload, here we show you how to make the best cakes in the entire world. So if you're into, actually, I wouldn't do that at the very beginning when your video first opens, but somewhere in the video, just, let them know, hey, by the way, if you're enjoying this cake video so far, I put out videos like this every single week. So remember to subscribe. That's the better approach. You do not want to do that when your video first opens. But anyway, the idea is to one, spread awareness about what it is that you're doing. Two, make sure that you're defining the value that you have in each individual video. And three, make sure that you're spreading awareness about that value that you provide. All right, let's see here.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, next up on our list here, we've got Brand Tarot Card Reading. Says, do you feel going live more often promotes more subs? What is the app you're using to announce these super chats here? So live streams, like people, the cool thing with live streams is that, a live stream audience isn't necessarily the same as a video audience. Of course, you're going to have some crossover, but some people will just come and hang out in your live streams. Other people will just watch your video content because they don't like how messy live streams are and that kind of stuff. So because of that, what you should do is just experiment on your channel and figure out, for your audience and who it is that you're reaching, if it's a gain for you or a loss for you. And when it comes to the gain side, an important thing to think about is like, okay, what am I gaining? Like, am I gaining having a good time? Am I gaining the ability to, add value and just interact with my community? Am I gaining, what is it exactly that I'm gaining from the live streams? And is it worth it to continue doing that? If the answer is yes, based on what it is that you're gaining, then in that case, keep doing it. If the answer is like, well, I just see other people live streaming, so I think it's something that I should do maybe. Then in that case, it's not even, that big of a deal. But like when it comes to growing your YouTube channel from live streaming, some people can do it. Me, in my case, I actually take a loss on my live stream. So almost every live stream, I'll take a loss. That means that either during the stream or during the replay, people will unsubscribe from my YouTube channel. So for me, it works against me on the subscriber side more than it works for me. But one thing that it helps me with is one, it's sponsored. Two, I of course get to add, value to you guys. Three, it's also, like super chats will come in, that sort of thing. Four, it helps me demonstrate, what it is that I know about YouTube, which brings in additional opportunities as well. But there's just a bunch of different ways the live streams help me. So even though I take that subscriber loss, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't care, because it's like, hey, if you unsubscribe because of my live stream, that's cool. Not a big deal. I'll catch you somewhere else. Not a problem. So, you just have to balance out that sort of thing. Now, when it comes to the app that I'm using to announce these super chats, it's not an app, actually. It is this right here. It's a Rodecaster Pro. And with this Rodecaster Pro, this is, I just hit this button right here.
Super chat.
And then it has that super chat audio coming through. Now, you're going to see some other devices over here as well. And I also have them. I also have these types of things here. Like, let's see if this one will work. Hold on.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So like on this right here, this is a Stream Deck. This is a much lower cost thing. So if you're just trying to get some sound effects going in, the Stream Deck will do the trick for you. This thing, the device that I was showing you before, the Rodecaster, this thing like processes your audio. It's got these buttons on it to where you can trigger things. You can have like your, the music or whatever it is from the sounds from your computer coming through the stream. You can have, if I had like 3 people here, then we could all be pouring into this one box and our voices, processed, where everything like sounds good and it sounds even and all that good stuff. So that's what that is. And like when you see when I hit the button and you see the background change, this right here, that's also happening through a Stream Deck as well. So, there's different options.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, there's different options, for stuff that you can do. But, a lower priced option for that would be like a Stream Deck. Now, there's other things that you can do as well. Like they do have apps. I know Elgato has one. I know Streamlabs has one as well, to where you can do some of that stuff through apps as well. If you're on an iPhone, I think there's one called Boss Jock that also does that. Brian G. Johnson in the house. What is up, my man? I hope that you are doing fantastic today. Lenny Horizons, and Brian G. Johnson, by the way, y'all, is he's actually the author of this book right here, To Ritual Volume 1. I'm going to link to that down in the description below this video right now. Hey, I recently started, Lenny Horizon says, I recently started a gaming channel, and the game I'm passionate about seems to be losing interest from the community. Should I still pursue this? How can I compete with existing content creators? Okay, so if you started YouTube because you're passionate about a game and now you're changing because you're like, hey, I got the YouTube bug and I want to do this, and if that means I got to change the game, then I'm going to change the game. Then in that case, you can follow popular games, which, is what a lot of gamers will do. But one thing to think about is if you are passionate about it, while other people stop making videos about it, you can be the resource for the people that do like it, to where, like, as the other people stop making videos about it, you're the person that kind of collects those people that are still into that game, so that you can still serve that community. So if you're still really passionate about it, then you can just keep going. But if you're like, you know what, I'm kind of losing it too, it's just not as popular anymore. So because of that, I want to just not do it, I just want to do something else. Then in that case, what you should do is think about, okay, this is the game that I'm playing. For this game that I'm playing, when people are playing this particular game, and of course you can look on Reddit, you can even ask on Reddit and Facebook groups and stuff like that around the game, but you want to try to uncover other games that people that play this game are likely to play. And the reason for that is because if you've already built an audience of some kind, then what you don't want to do is you don't want to just throw something completely random. I mean, you can experiment by all means. Don't let this sound that you can't experiment, because you can. But what you want to do is you want to try to build like a bridge of some kind that will get them, you know, it's like, hey, they were playing this game, but they're playing this game too. And I love how they were playing that game. And, you know, how I loved watching their videos when they were playing this game. And I love this game too. So, you know, let me see what their content's like, you know, for this game also. So, you know, if you can find some type of bridge there. So for example, let's say that you're doing like COD content. Then in that case, looking for another like army type game or another, you know, war type game could be, you know, the path that people would take if it was Call of Duty, for example. If you're doing like, you know, like Fortnite or, you know, something like a battle royale, then switching maybe to another battle royale game might be the right choice. But the idea is just to, you know, hop on the internet, ask questions in different groups. Hey, you know, what other games do you play besides this? And start collecting information on games that, you know, people are playing along with the game that you currently play, and then see if that's something that you, a game that you would also like to, that you also enjoy and would like to play. And look, keep in mind too, like, you know, like you can also just experiment and just like throw stuff out there. And like, for example, like if you're just getting started and you're like, you know, hey, I'm playing this game and I've got, you know, like a handful of videos up and, you know, I'm starting to, you know, people are starting to vibe with what it is that I'm doing. Like just throw out a piece of content on just a totally different game and just see how people respond to it. Because, you know, like the thing that I mentioned before about, you know, YouTube is, you know, like a lot of channels, if you have a thriving channel, you have a large percentage of your viewership that is not subscribed to your channel in the first place. Now, of course, you don't have to be subscribed in order to continue for YouTube to keep showing your content, or you to keep seeing someone else's content on your homepage. So because of that, you know, like some of those people might be active viewers, and you can see that through the returning viewership stat that they give you in your analytics. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get at is if you're serving a lot of people that, you know, that are just new anyway to your YouTube channel, then in that case, it doesn't really matter what you play, because then in that case, what you're doing is you are, you know, just trying to throw some experimental content out there for some other games and just see, you know, hey, for right now, YouTube has collected this data from my YouTube channel and they've, you know, their system is figuring out who's a good fit for my content. Let me push this piece of content. Let me publish this piece of content and just see, you know, see what happens when YouTube starts showing this to a similar audience. Let's see here. Next up on our list, I'm going to hop into the form for this one. Silver Wolf, what is up? Welcome to the live stream. I hope that you are doing fantastic. Let's see here. It says, hey, Nick, can I give you some content tips for a honey, saffron, and dry fruits related channel to grow? And yes, I look forward to Saturday evenings and watching Nimmin live. Can I give some content tips for a honey? I'm not sure what saffron. Is. So basically, here's the thing: when you are making any type of content for YouTube, and I'll just go through this for everybody because this applies to every single person that's watching right now. It applies to me. It applies to every content creator on YouTube. So the thing to make sure that you're always aware of is that one, YouTube content and how your channel does and how your videos do, it's all based on performance. And it's ultimately the performance of your videos or your shorts or your live streams, depending on, you know, what it is that you're doing, or all the above. But basically, when you publish a piece of content, we'll just isolate it down to one piece of content. When you publish that piece of content, what YouTube does is they try to show that content to what their system believes is the people that are the most likely to enjoy that piece of content at that particular time. And based on how those people respond to your content when it's showing to them, that's called an impression. When YouTube shows your content to somebody on the platform, wherever it is, doesn't matter if it's search or on the subscription page or on the home page, whatever, wherever it is that they show it, it's counted as an impression. So because of that, your ability to get people to click is like step one. So because of that, if you're not able to get people to click in terms of your titles, not good, your thumbnails, not good, you haven't thought about it in terms of like, how can I really, you know, get people to click? Why, I should say, is this important to the people that I'm trying to reach, those sorts of things? You know, you need to make sure that you're defining that, because you have to be able to win that click. If you can't win that click, then it doesn't matter how good your video is, they're not going to see it. The next step in that process is you win the click, right? So remember, we're thinking performance based here. So let's take it back to the click. So let's say that that you're getting clicked on more than let's say that you have 2 YouTube channels you both publish a video at the same exact time on the same exact topic. You both show up on a homepage. Well, if yours gets clicked and the other one doesn't, that's a point in your favor and not a point in the other person's favor. Now, the next step in that process is, let's say that they do click on your video and they click on that other channel video as well, right? So then you're still tied at that point. So they clicked on, one person on one browser clicked on one, another person, that they showed it to, they clicked on that one. So then now you have, one person that comes in and they start watching the video. And of course you want to scale this out to the masses, but you have the person that comes in and watches your video. From there, how long do you keep the person watching compared to that other person that just published, that other channel that just published the same video? If you have a bunch of people completing your video and clicking on your end screens and engaging by leaving comments and liking your videos and sharing your content out and all that, then your video is going to end up outperforming the other video if that other video, they only get 10% into the video and, they don't have hardly anybody at all completing the video. Nobody's clicking on their end screens. They can't get anybody to comment or like or anything like that. Then your content's going to do exceptionally better than that other piece of content. So, you want to keep those types of things in mind when it comes to YouTube, and it doesn't matter what type of content you make. The rules are exactly the same for all of us in terms of the getting people to click, getting people to enjoy the content, getting them to further engage if possible. Let's see here. Next up on the list, I Write and Designs says, can you give me content tips and dry fruits related YouTube channel? It's a pleasure to watch you live on Saturdays. Glad that you're enjoying the show. So yeah, so when it comes to that, all the things that I just talked about, that was for you, right? I mean, it's for everybody here, but that's for you, because when it comes to YouTube, it's all performance based. So what you have to do is you have to learn how to, resonate with the people that you're trying to reach, how to make sure that you're using the right imagery in your thumbnails, to make sure that you're using titles that would make sense and also be compelling for the people that you're trying to reach. And by make sense, I just mean letting them know what the video is about, but also have something compelling in there so that, you can get them to click on what it is that you're doing. Those are all things that you want to make sure that you're doing. Another thing, since you're doing tips on growing, I'm not sure what saffron is, but it's dry fruits. I see dry fruits. So if you're doing farming related stuff, then in that case, just make sure that you're using imagery that also, illustrates what it is that you're doing. So, if you're doing farming type stuff, then in that case, you don't want to necessarily, use thumbnails that make you look like a gamer, right? Because that's not the type of content that you have. So you want to make sure that you're representing yourself in a way that is in alignment with the type of content that you make, so the people that you're trying to reach can identify that what it is that you're making is for them. A really great example of this is if you go and you look, if you go to and you look at fitness websites, right? A lot of them have a similar theme. They're completely different, but they have similar themes within fitness websites. So when you land on them, it's oh yeah, this is a fitness website, where even if it didn't say something about fitness, you'd be able to look at it and be oh yeah, this definitely looks like a fitness website, right? So you want to make sure that the content that you're making, that it also is being demonstrated visually in a way that also helps people, identify it. But in addition to that, once you start publishing your videos, you're going to find out that when you're doing, honey videos, maybe, people love those, but then when you do the dry fruits, maybe they don't love them as much. So then of course, as part of your content strategy, you have to figure out okay, if I publish the dry fruit videos, people don't like them as much, but I get more subscribers there. But when I publish the honey content, people love those, but they don't subscribe as much. So then, you have to start digging into your stats and figuring out, which pieces of content people respond to most for which metrics, so that you can make sure that you're leaning on those when you're trying to, make sure that you're, everything is rising, so to speak. Man, I talked a lot on that one. Okay, so next up on the list, new channel member here, Aussie Stoners channel. What is up?
Welcome to the Nimanati.
Welcome to the Nimanati. Make sure that you go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member there. And I will be letting you in there right after this live stream. And just a heads up, we do live streams over there every week, where I look at channels, or I just get in there and do Q&A type stuff where it's specific, because there's not as many people in there. So it's just specific, to each individual person that's in there. So, a lot of really cool stuff going on in there. So welcome to the Nimanati. Let's see here. Next up on our list, and then I'm going to jump back. Actually, I'm going to jump back into the forum here really quick before I get Nate the lawyer. So give me 1 second here, Nate. So the next question that we have here is Krishna Raghavendran. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I messed that up. You do coding in MIT App Inventor. The goal of the channel is for people to learn mobile app development and create mobile apps. That's cool. And the question: My channel has 700 subscribers. I was getting around 1,000 views per day and 10 subscribers a day. This week, I got only 500 views per day, and every metric is going down. Is this because people are losing interest in the whole topic, or is it that nobody wants to watch my channel? So when you're getting 700 subscribers and you're getting 1,000 views per day and 10 subscribers per day, your YouTube analytics is going to leave a trail of where all of that is coming from. So for example, when you are getting 1,000 views per day, you can look in your YouTube analytics and you can find the exact videos that are responsible for bringing that 1,000 views per day. You can also go in and through your YouTube analytics, you can find the exact videos that are responsible for driving 10 viewers per day or 10 subscribers per day. So what you want to do is you want to go into your YouTube analytics and you want to look to see exactly what content is bringing in the higher amount of traffic and which content is converting those people into subscribers so that you can make more content that is similar. And of course, you know, I'm sure if you're doing app development, you're going to talk about tons of things. But one thing that I want to tell you is it doesn't mean that, you know, nobody's interested in your channel or nobody wants to watch your channel. The thing is just you had videos that were doing well, or a video that was doing well, or a handful of videos that were doing well. And those videos could have been you know, being suggested next to other videos, and then somebody else came along and they made a video on the same thing that you made it about, and then, you know, you ended up losing that spot. Or let's say that there was just higher performing videos in terms of click-through rate and watch time that YouTube thought the viewers would enjoy, and they threw them there and tested them against yours. And then, you know, some of those bumped you out of those spots, or you bumped down a few spots lower to where maybe you're just not getting as much activity from some of the videos that were driving you a lot of traffic. You can see all of this in your YouTube analytics. But in terms of, you know, that 1,000 views per day, 10 subscribers, go and figure out where it was coming from. And then YouTube in your analytics, you also have something called a compare feature. That compare feature will let you compare date ranges. It'll let you compare content against each other. So what you want to do is you want to go in there and you can say, okay, I'm going to compare, you know, this date range where, you know, I was getting 1,000 subscribers and 10 subscribers and 1,000 views per day against right now where I'm not getting that type of activity, and see if I can see anything clearly there in terms of you know, like where the traffic was coming from for each one, to try to uncover like what happened. But at the end of the day, you know, there's always ups and downs on YouTube. So just as a heads up, like when you publish a piece of content, you can't necessarily count on that content doing great forever. It might, but in reality, there's a lot of, you know, there's a really good chance, especially once your channel starts doing well and people start taking notice, that other people will look at your channel and they'll see the content that you're putting out. Just like I mentioned to the finance question earlier today, I'm like, go to the other channels in your niche, see what it is that they're doing, see what it is that people are responding to recently, and, you know, and use that for ideas for like videos to make, use that for, you know, seeing how they're grabbing attention to that content in terms of thumbnails and titles and exactly what it is they're doing in the videos and all of that. Like that was the advice that I gave there. Other people are going to be doing that to you as well. So because of that, you know, other people can make videos that will end up, you know, making you lose search rankings. They can take spots from you and suggested. They can just start showing them more on home pages if they end up performing better than yours on the same exact topic. So Nate the lawyer,
Superchat.
what's up, man? Says, Nick, I recently had a video go viral. Nice work. How do I capitalize on the video success? Also, what do you think about brand deals? High five, fist bump to you on the viral video. So if you have a video that's getting crushed right now in traffic, here's what I recommend that you do. One, make sure that your end screen is linking to a playlist, not just a single video. Have a playlist link, and also have a link going to a best for viewer, so that you are making a recommendation there and what you think that the viewer is going to watch based on the video they're currently watching. Then YouTube is going to do their thing with the best for viewer. In addition to that, same exact thing that I mentioned earlier, which you might not have been in here for, make sure that you pin a comment as well, so that you can be driving people into that playlist also. So what you're trying to do ultimately, you're having a lot of people come into a video. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the masses, as many as you can, to get to the end of your video and then go into a specific playlist. That same exact playlist is also linked as a pinned comment. I would even link it in your description as well, so that hopefully enough people are going to end up watching more of your content in that playlist, so that you can increase the amount of suggested traffic that's coming in as well. Because what happens with YouTube is when you start having a lot of people jump from video to video, one of the things that they say that that works with their suggestions is that they are grouping together videos that people typically watch together. So what you're trying to do is, as you have a lot of people coming into that one video, is you're trying to get as many of those people as possible to take a clear path, so that YouTube can identify that, hey, when people are watching this video, now they're watching this video. So then you can start moving, they'll start moving some of that content up in the next up and things like that, if you can make that happen in mass. So that's what you want to do. Now, In addition to that, if you have a video that's going viral, all of those people that are interacting with your content right now, if they've, for the people that have watched for a longer period of time or left comments and liked the videos and things like that, your next video, those are going to be the people that are going to be like, or some of the people that are going to see that next video, and they're going to help make that call on the initial performance of your next video. So because of that, just think really hard, like, okay, this is what this video is about that really got a lot of people, juiced up and coming in and watching this video. So like the people that got excited about this, what's the next thing that I could make that would also get those people coming back in, right? So it's like, hey, if you made it on, this topic, like what's the next topic that you can make a video about to where those same exact people, based on what they've proven to be interested in because of that piece of content that they watched, what is it that you can make next that would be a great fit for those people as well? Other things, I would really dig in and I would start analyzing the heck out of that video. So go in, look at the watch time that you've gotten compared to the impressions, not just watch time, but compared to the impressions that you've gotten on it, compared to the views that you have. Look at your click-through rate compared to the impressions. Go into your traffic sources, look at the click-through rate, and look at your view duration from all the different traffic sources compared to your impressions. Look at how many people are completing the video. Look at how many shares you got. Look at how many comments you got, how many likes you got. Like literally look at everything about that video so that you can start to get an idea and write all of this stuff down. So you can start to get an idea of what like a viral piece of content looks like on your channel. So then that can be like a little bit of a foggy roadmap, so to speak, on what a really strong piece of content looks like on your channel, so that you can, use those metrics to be like, hey, if my videos will hit something around this, then they'll probably do okay. Right. So that's what I would, do in your particular situation. But if you have content that's performing heavy on your channel and it's performing a lot right now, like you can really get things moving on there, because the thing of making it easy for people to find more of your content and all of that, that's essentially like all it is that I'm telling you to do. So same exact thing goes, like if you're getting a lot of views, because I don't know, like viral on your channel, I don't know if that means 100,000 views, or I don't know if that means like several million views, I'm not sure. But if you have a lot of people that are coming in and interacting with that content, then that next video is going to be really, really, really important. But nice work. High five, fist bump to you for making it happen. In terms of brand deals, that was the next part of this. So in terms of brand deals, I think that that all content creators should do brand deals. I think that all content creators should have their own products. I think that all content creators should do everything they can possibly do to monetize what it is that they're doing, because YouTube, it's expensive. Like, of course, you can do it in non-expensive ways, but if that's just making content. But in addition to just making content, you also have, even if you're somebody making videos on a phone, like you're eventually going to have to replace your phone, right? So because of that, I really recommend that you absolutely do brand deals. I absolutely recommend that you try to monetize in any way that you possibly can in your channel, because it's part of sustainability. Like if you don't have money coming in, then it's always going to be just like a thing that you do on the side. But if you start, making the right decisions with the, like if you have a piece of viral content, for example, and you keep that ball rolling, then eventually you're probably going to want to do this either as like another thing, or depending on, what it is that you have going on, you might want to just say, I'm just going to hop in and I'm just going to ride this wave for a while. Right. And if you do that, you're going to need income for that. So because of that, absolutely, I do brand deals. Quick tip for you. If you do start doing brand deals, always put together a menu. So if somebody reaches out to you for a sponsored video, always reply with one, what is your budget? If they're like, hey, what do you charge for this? Reply, what kind of budget do you have? Second is when you are negotiating through that first video, instead of just offering the one video, try to get like a longer term thing, either like a 3-video deal or a 5-video deal, or, like a 6-month thing, to where in addition to videos, you spread awareness through additional, social media channels or whatever it is that you're doing. But like try to, because you have somebody that's interested in what it is that you're doing, somebody that's interested in, helping support what it is that you're doing, so that you can bring attention to what it is that they're doing as well. So because of that, I would just go really hard on making sure that you're offering them more than what it is that they're wanting. So they're going to come in, they're going to be like, hey, this one video, and the immediate reply should be, one, what is your budget? Two, I prefer to work with, longer term deals because that helps me bring more attention to you and what it is that you're doing, and helps, spread the awareness even more through my community and all that good stuff. You don't put that thing together, and then right out of the gate, you're going to start making more money with the brand deals that you put together as well. So I hope all of that made sense. Let's see here. Camp Kamal Tech Vlog. Oops, wrong one. Hit the wrong button. Almost sent you to the wrong place.
Welcome to the Nimanati.
Welcome to the Nimanati. Go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member. Car Galaxy Studios, what's up, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you swinging by. Let's see here. So, hey, really quick, Doug Hewson, YT, dropping the photo in here. Just put a share out on Twitter. So I just want to bring him up really quick and thank you, Doug, for that share. So if you are enjoying the show, feel free to take a picture, share this out on Twitter as well. Try to get more YouTube content creators in this puppy hanging out. Thanks for that, Doug. Appreciate it, man. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, Doug's saying that I missed a super chat. So let me hit that real quick, and then we'll get back into the additional questions. And in the meantime,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So our question, our super chat comes from Adoption with Nairi. Says, to set up group comparisons and analytics, do you mainly have to create the groups? That is, select the videos individually. It depends on what it is that you are comparing. So if you're comparing date ranges, then no. Because then it's basically just comparing the two date ranges against each other. If you're comparing one video and one video, no. If you are wanting to do content sets, then in that case, you need to create the group for it. If you create the group for it, then you would go into the group. After the groups are created, you would go into the first group, and then you would click the compare option, and then you would pull up the second group. Make sure that you're also paying attention to the date ranges. Like as you're in there, clicking everything around, it's showing you that display where you're actually comparing things. Make sure that you confirm every time when you're collecting the data from that comparison, make sure that you confirm the date range as well, because I've seen people that have actually had, like, one would be in like 90 days, the other one would be in like 28 days. So because of that, it just gives, drastically, different information. So because of that, just as a quick tip for you, make sure that you always confirm that date range. Let's see here. Oh man, I just saw a question I was going to pull up here. Let's see if I can find it. It was down here towards the bottom. Here we go. In analyzing YouTube videos from other creators, notice that the background sound add to the video. What is your recommended audio level for background music? So for that, what I try to do when I'm editing the video, usually Vigard edits the videos, so he takes care of that. But when I'm doing it, I'll just listen to it. Like I have studio monitors here. So like these, I don't know if you can actually see them. Yeah, you can sort of see one over here. But basically, like I listen to it through studio monitors. I'll listen to it there. I'll listen to it in headphones, and then I'll just make sure that that I'm not drowning myself out. So what I recommend that you do, and you'll figure this out relatively quick if you start doing it, is before you publish your video, if you're mixing music into it, listen to it on just like a few different systems. If you don't have studio monitors handy, listen to it on a few different systems of where people would be listening to your content. So for example, maybe you throw in a set of AirPods, maybe you listen to it on a laptop speakers, and then maybe you listen to it through like a TV, and then you'll be able to see through like drastically different devices. If you have your audio's coming up way too loud on one side, because that happens a lot with content creators, just because they'll mix something on like one system and they won't listen to it on something else, and their system just isn't accurate on what it's on what it's telling them in terms of what it sounds like. Let's see here. But when you are actually publishing to YouTube, the The loudness, I believe it's either -14 or -18 LUFs. I'm not sure what LUF stands for, but I have a plugin for that to where I can actually, I can do it through a plugin, or Adobe Audition also has a thing where you can do match loudness, and then you can set it in there as well. So when you upload it to YouTube, that YouTube doesn't compress it, and that YouTube doesn't raise it up. Because if you go in there and your audio overall, and this is for everybody here, if you publish a video and your audio is too low, YouTube is going to bring it up. If you publish a video and it's too high, then YouTube's going to crush it. So because of that, you'll notice you might notice that when you publish your videos, like, hey, this does not sound on YouTube like it sounds, before I upload this video. That's what's going on. So if you go to the stats for nerds, if you enable that in your YouTube account, you go to your stats for nerds, which means that you just right click on your video, and then you'll see stats for nerds. And then you can see that, and you can actually see where YouTube is adjusting it. So Mr. Camera Junkie says loudness under full scale is what LUFS stands for. Thank you for that. Learned something today. Thank you. Let's see here. Blaine Locklear. Welcome to the Nimanati.
Welcome to the Nimanati.
So make sure you go to nimminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to the Facebook group. Fill out everything on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member. Looking forward to chatting in there. Matt RV Reviews says, Nick, I have about 600 videos. I'm about to go full-time on YouTube. High five, fist bump to you. Independently, if I'm forced to take down 400 of my videos, will that hurt the channel or the algorithm? So if you are forced to, I think I get what's going on there. So if you are forced to take down videos, then in that case, like if you just have to take 400 videos off your channel, you're kind of like, you just got to do it anyway, like if you're being forced to do that. But in terms of if it's going to hurt you, in some cases it might, if the videos that you take down are ones that are heavy traffic drivers to the channel. If they're not getting much activity, then no, it's not going to be a big deal. However, if you do take down a bunch of videos that are like the primary traffic drivers of your YouTube channel, then in that case, it can make a huge negative impact. So I would just go through, if possible, try to keep some of the important ones if you can. And by important, I just mean the ones that are bringing a lot of traffic to your channel. But if you're being forced to take them down, it's just the situation that you're in. And I'm sorry to hear that. But in terms of it hurting your channel, I would just make sure that you are trying to work something out to where you're not deleting the videos that are driving the most viewership to your channel. Let's see here as we keep on going here. Let's see here. Okay, so next up on our list, I'm going to jump back into the forum for this one. Next up on our list here, we've got Canva tutorials by Like It or Not. And the type of channel, the channel is a channel teaching others how to use Canva and design things for various means. And the goal of the channel is I want to teach others how to use Canva to design headers, thumbnails, overlays, and more for their channels. Question, what are your top 3 analytics to look at in YouTube Studio to see how to improve your channel growth in terms of getting impressions out there? Thanks so much. The things that I look at more than anything is what videos are bringing the traffic to the channel. And then, of course, click-through rate and average view duration. And by average view duration, I look at the total watch time and the percentage viewed. I also look at other things as well, like, how many people are interacting with the end screens. I also look at how many, subscribers the videos convert, because that tells me how the value has, how it's helped people or how the value's been, resonated through that video. I also look at the amount of, I know you asked for 3, but the 3 that I mentioned are the ones to focus on. But the other ones also tell you things. So like if you have one video that gets a lot of comments, then in that case, then that tells you that either 1, you had a solid call to action there to cause those comments, or 2, the video really resonated with people in some way. So the comments aren't just like, hey, let's just try to get as many comments as possible. The comments are a way to be able to tell you like, okay, hey, if you got a lot of comments on this video compared to everything else that you're doing, something about this video really resonated with the people that are watching it. So because of that, your job as the content creator is to try to unpack what it is that could have caused some, people to comment way more on that video compared to your other videos. Same exact thing goes with your likes. Same exact thing goes with the subscribes as well. So, when you're looking at everything, all of it has meaning. You just have to be able to, find or make theories about the meaning that you pull from each individual thing. So, other things that you're going to find is you're going to find like, hey, this video that got the same amount of views or even more views than this video here, the amount of subscribers that this one generated with, with the same amount of views compared to this one is like double or triple. Like you want to go and you want to try to uncover why with that as well. So it can be some things like you can find out. Doug, I will check it. Thank you. But you can find out, little things like you can go in, you can look, and maybe you'll find out that you're getting a majority of your traffic through search, and you're just a great solution on that video. And you're pulling that traffic from search, but you're a great solution for that problem that somebody's trying to find. Whereas the other video might have gotten more browse traffic to where the intent of that person when they're coming in for the video might be completely different. So therefore the views might be the same, but the viewer intent when they came into that video is completely different, which then would cause those people to possibly not subscribe as much as the people that you help them solve a problem, right? So that's the that's how you want to look at some of that stuff. Let's see here. So Doug mentioned more. Let's see here. Attack, go to MIV. Okay, we did that one. I think I got all of the super chats here. Oh, here we go. So I am Vehement says, hey Nick, I do game news videos, but stop now. I do gameplay live streams. We'll be making videos again in the form of reviews, but I'm losing subscribers. Look, when it comes to YouTube, you're going to lose subscribers. Of course, you want to pay attention to what is losing, like what's causing you to lose subscribers, but you're going to lose subscribers. I've lost over 250,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel since I started. Crazy, right? Like if it wasn't for the loss that I've had, I would have over 1 million subscribers right now, but I've lost 250,000 subscribers on my channel. So it's part of the gig. So what you want to do is you want to look and see where you're bleeding subscribers, so to speak. So if you notice, like in my case, I know that a majority of my losses are from live streams. So like because of that, I can say, okay, not a majority, but a lot of my losses from live streams. So when I found that, I was like, okay, well, I'm losing a lot of people from these live streams, but what's the benefit of these live streams? And one benefit is that I can directly answer questions that you guys have, where in a video you just kind of gotta wait around and hope that maybe I'll make a video about something or somebody will make a video about it. But here you can just ask your question, and if you, as long as it grabs attention in the chat or as long as it comes in through the form, then you can get your question answered right here. So that's the value that I'm adding here, and because of that, like I don't care if some people unsubscribe because of it. So you should take a similar approach in terms of being like, hey, people are unsubscribing from this content. Why do I think it is that they're unsubscribing from it? And is it really important that they're not or that they're unsubscribing from this content when the people that are subscribing to it, those people are getting solid value out of it. Let's see here. So another one that came in is from Wrathman. Says, how often should we be posting shorts? I posted my first one 12 hours ago, and I've never had so many views for my channel. So if you find that people are enjoying your shorts and your shorts are going to be, and if your shorts are going to be complementary to what it is that you're doing in long form, then publishing them on a regular basis is fine. But if you are trying to do something completely different with your shorts than what it is that you offer in your long form content, then in that case you might want to reconsider. But like there's nothing wrong with having a channel and just turning that channel into a shorts channel either. So like the short shelf, they need videos. So because of that, like if you are just like, hey, I'm just uploading like whatever, and like I'm just trying to just get attention to my channel, and that's your approach, and you don't have like a real hard goal that you're trying to accomplish, then in that case, uploading shorts on a regular basis just to get that activity going is definitely something that that you can clearly have an advantage from, since you have since you've already proven to yourself that one short has brought in a lot more viewership than your video content. One thing to think about when it comes to shorts is that, with shorts on your YouTube channel, like the amount of competition on the short shelf is pretty much non-existent compared to the amount of competition that you have with the normal video content. So, when you're publishing something from the short shelf, your amount of people that you're competing against, even though it's a massive amount, it's drastically reduced. Okay, so let's see here as we keep on going through this list. Here's what we got. Let's see here. Nick, my YouTube channel isn't showing. So if your YouTube channel isn't showing, I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you mean that you're searching for it and it's not showing, they have a little option to where you can choose by channel in the filters. So if you go to YouTube search and then you choose the filter option and then you choose channel, then your channel should show up. Raffman, my pleasure. Let's see here. Brian D. Johnson says he prefers linen shorts. Oh man, love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. So Original Ryan Gaming says that he posted 2 shorts based on a game he's playing. The first got over 500 views, and the second is just under 200 now. Posted 1 a week. He'd recommend 1 a week as a doorway. So somebody in our group, Ryan, somebody in our group actually grew a channel to over 100,000 subscribers with just a few shorts. Like that was like the only content they published, and their channel ended up blowing up just on a few shorts. So yeah, they're definitely something that you can use as long as it fits into what it is that you are, what it is that you're doing, or whatever goals it is that you're trying to accomplish. Let's see here. Let me make sure that I got everybody here, and I think that I did, and then we will keep on trucking. So now we're gonna hop back into the form, and we are going to go from there. So the next question that we have here is from Captivating Cats. Captivating Cats says they do Fortnite montages. Says they'd like to create a studio where I can make videos, music, and programming stuff. That's the goal of the channel. And the question, what are some tips to help overcome camera shyness and improve on content? It's a great question. How many people here, before you started your YouTube channel, or even now, maybe, if you haven't started it yet, or maybe you're still going through it, how many people here have camera shyness? How many people are like, you know what, I would love to be on camera, but I just can't do it. If that's you, just give me a me. I know some of you will probably be shy about it, not say anything, but for those of you that are strong and can say it publicly, go ahead and put it here. I was terrified to be on camera. I have no problem saying that. I was terrified to be on camera. My very first video on my channel is how to overcome camera shyness, because I had to overcome camera shyness in order to get onto YouTube. And that was my first piece of value through the pain that I was having. That was my first piece of value that I was able to add, was basically teach people how to overcome camera shyness. Paul Peck Drywall Tube says that he has a short that's about to hit a million views on his YouTube channel. Yeah, nice. Love it. So when it comes to overcoming camera shyness, a few things to think about is one, you want to think about that typically when we are shy to put ourselves on camera, it usually comes down to like what's going on in our own brains. And some of that stuff can be that, that you're worried about, what somebody else might think when they see you on camera. You're worried about if somebody that sees it, and then they know that you're on YouTube, and then they control you or give you a hard time or whatever. But the thing is like when you just go for it, and this can be with anything, when you just go for it and you start doing the thing that you want to do, a lot of awesome things can happen. And like when it comes to YouTube, one of the things that I was afraid of is I was like, man, somebody that knows me sees this, they're going to give me a hard time about it. If my brother sees it, because he wasn't on YouTube at the time, I was like, man, if my brother sees this, he's going to give me a hard time. And this was all in my head, right? Like I was just making all of this stuff up. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, these people are going to give me a hard time. And then I was like, hey, like I'm not, some 18-year-old kid. So because of that, like I'm going to have people like trolling me because I'm like, too old for YouTube and that kind of stuff. And, I had all this stuff rattling around in my head. But the funny thing is when I started publishing videos, none of that stuff mattered. Like none of it happened. So when my brother, when I finally told him that I had a YouTube channel, he was like, wow, this is really good. And I was sitting there and he's watching it, right? And I'm sitting there in my brain, I'm like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes, right? Even though he's like always been supportive and he's super supportive, in my own brain, I'm just like, oh, he's gonna give me a hard time about this, because it was an insecurity that I had, right? But instead, he was like, hey, this is really good, So it was complete opposite of what I was expecting. When friends of mine saw it, same exact thing, like, wow, this is pretty good. So it was a complete opposite of what I was saying, or what I was thinking, I should say. And all the comments and negativity that I was expecting, none of that stuff came. Of course, we all get trolls, but in terms of, like I thought that it would be just a constant thing. No, it's not, it's not. So, a lot of the hurdles that you have before you get on camera, it's just all up here, and you just have to, just kind of put all of that aside and say, if this is something that I want to do, this is one of the, you can make videos without showing your face. You can use like Camtasia, for example. You can use animation software. You can, a bunch of different ways. I have a video that I just published on how to make videos without showing your face. But at the end of the day, like if you want to be like an on-camera personality, you got to be on camera in order to be able to make that happen. So if it's something that you want to do, I encourage you to push all that to the side, because my fear of being on camera almost caused me to not have a YouTube channel. And if I didn't start this YouTube channel, then my life wouldn't have changed. I mean, maybe it would have through other stuff. I don't know. But the path and opportunities that choice ended up making when I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. That has just, it's literally changed everything about my life and who I am and like all of this, it's just had an amazing, impact. And if I was afraid of it and if I didn't see it through, then of course, it could have been a totally different thing. So just start now, just go for it, do your thing, make it happen. And don't be afraid, of the, of the feedback that you're gonna get from people. And just to go a little bit more transparent for you, like I was so worried about it that, like right here, right? Like you see these bags under my eyes, you kind of get these as a human being sometimes, especially, when you start, getting a little bit older. You see like the gray hair in my beard. I actually didn't have that at the time, but that and just like little, skin imperfections, stuff like that. All the things that make us human beings. I wore makeup. Like I put on foundation, I put on concealer, right? I put concealer underneath here, and I put on foundation so I could even out my skin tone so that I could look as good as possible on camera. Because I saw news people doing that, and I was like, hey, if news people are doing this, then that must be the thing to do to cover to shield the hide behind. So that's what I did for my first handful of videos. Of course, I very quickly started, not doing that. But initially, in order to help me, it was kind of a crutch, right? Like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then let me put all this stuff on my face in order to hide myself, and that gave me the courage to do it. Brian D. Johnson says he's wearing makeup right now. Oh, ASMR Dream More says still looking awesome. Thank you for the kind words and of encouragement. That's good, because I was like, hey, after this, at the end of the stream, I was going to announce that it was my last live stream and last video to YouTube. So glad that you said that. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's see here. Next up on the list here, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track here. We got Simply Simmer says that they do gaming, Sims 4. Says, the goal of the channel says, I love making Sims speed builds and I'd love to make it full-time job one day. Does CTR and retention rate matter more than keywords and tags? What is the single most important feature in analytics to focus on? Great question.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay. So when you are looking at your YouTube analytics, everything matters. Not what you wanted to hear, I know. But when you are like, it's not necessarily just one thing to focus on outside of just focusing on making sure that you know who it is that you are making content for, so that you can make sure that you add as much value to those people as humanly possible through whatever type of content it is that you're making. That's the thing that matters. But in terms of does your CTR and retention rate matter more than keywords and tags? Absolutely. However, the keywords can help people respond to it better, which because you're helping them identify that content's for them, which then can in turn increase your click-through rate, and that can also help with your retention also because you're building that expectation before they even click on it. So if you are building a keyword into your title of some kind, and they click on that expecting something related to that keyword, and you start delivering on that, then that can also help your retention because you're setting it up properly from the outside. So absolutely, CTR and retention rate matters way more than keywords and tags. In fact, I would even venture to say that the most important things that you need to focus on your YouTube channel is the topics of videos that you're making, your ability to get people to click on them, and your ability to serve the viewers in the content in terms of keeping them watcher for a longer period of time, not because you're trying to game, not because, the algorithm, but because you're just trying to create awesome content for the people that are coming in and watching your stuff. If you focus on that and serving your audience, serving your viewers, then things will go well for you. And of course, you have to develop the skills in order to be able to do all this. So for example, if you have trouble, Professor Niz in the house. What is up, man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Hope that you're doing great, man. Says, love YouTube. Nick's changed my business and life with his advice and wisdom. Listen to him carefully. Thank you for the kind words, my man. I appreciate it. When you are, looking in your stats though, like all the stuff that you're looking at matters. So because of that, just pay attention to everything that's going on, but the things you should focus on more or the most is where are your viewers coming from? Who is it that your viewers are? And how well are you able to connect with them? And the connect with them side comes from them being able to identify that your content's for them, clicking on it, coming in and enjoying your content enough to where YouTube deems it as a satisfactory experience for those viewers so that they can continue to show your content to more and more people. And of course, you want them to engage more and, all that good stuff as well. Okay, so let's see here. I think my volume, let me see here, unless you're in headphones. Give me 1 second. Yeah, 2 notches there. So I just took it down to 1 notch. So hopefully that is a little bit better. Okay, so as we keep on trucking, so Jade Art says, how do you make YouTube recommend my video? So the way that you make YouTube recommend your video is by making a piece of content that the people that you're trying to reach absolutely loves. So if you are making content that your audience loves, then you are going to be able to get them to click on it because you understand your audience and who it is that you're making content for. Once they click on your videos, YouTube gives us something called your audience retention reports. You can see this for every single video that you publish, and it's a second-by-second report on how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So because of that, you need to make sure that if you want YouTube to recommend your video, that you are getting a good response on your click-through rate and that you're getting a good response in your audience retention. And then, of course, thinking about, okay, well, when people are done with my video, like, what are they going to do then? Are they going to click on something else? Are they going to leave YouTube? Am I going to make it easy for them to find more content of mine so they can watch more of my videos by using my end screens, pinned comments, description links, by optimizing my channel page and all that good stuff. So, if you want YouTube to recommend your content more, it comes down to, you giving the people that YouTube shows that content to a reason to click it in terms of defining why it is that would be important to the people that you're trying to reach. And of course, give them an awesome experience once they are in your content. Let's see here. So what would you do? What do you recommend for seasonality niches? Mine is football video game. So summer months are super rough. Try new things or grind through it. So is there anything that you can do in the summer to supplement? So if your main thing is a football game, is there any type of like additional game that you would be able to play during the summer months in order to grow up that summer audience to kind of sustain you through the summer? If so, then that would be a path to go on. In terms of like you putting out that content, but just people aren't responding to it just because they're not playing that game during the summer, then just having an alternative to where you can do that alternative content throughout the year, but then just do the football content less once summertime hits. But finding a game that people are still involved with in the summertime is one way that you'd be able to see through that. Because one thing that I would typically say in the situation for people that do like fishing content and seasonal content like that, and that's just in like areas. In some places you can fish all the time, but like the idea is like, hey, make enough content in the on season that will cover you through the off season, and also in the off season for people in that case, not with games, but for people in that case, they can talk about things like getting ready for fishing season. They can talk about like all the different gear and things like that they use to make it it's just not necessarily we're fishing, but here's all the stuff around fishing to get you ready for next season type of thing. But in your case, since it's game related, then I would try to fill that hole with another game. So then that way you have your, you would have a pillar of content that is based around your football game. And then you'd have another pillar of content that's based around that second game that would be able to carry you through the summer months. And you might find that people enjoy that new game more or less. However, it would be, something else that, might perform better than your football content. So that's to answer this clearly. So you say, try new things or grind through it, try new things. And part of trying new things is of course grinding through it, but I would definitely try new things, because if you're up and then you have a clear thing to where year after year, you're like, hey, during this period I'm down. Then in that case, you definitely want to try new things. Let's see here as we keep on going through our list. Ancient Dynasty says, hey, Nick, can I still be successful if I make how-to videos that are 2 to 3 minutes long that just get to the point? People say 8 minutes is better. Okay, so what YouTube says is that it doesn't matter to them if somebody watches a long video or if they watch several short videos. What they care about is how people enjoy that content. So because of that, if you make shorter videos, I would try to string them together in some way so that you can just create a bunch of series on your channel. So instead of having like, hey, I'm publishing this one long video, which is what a lot of people do, then if you're going to do shorter videos, then say, okay, I'm going to do a series that would end up being a longer viewer experience, and I'm going to build the content around a series, but I'm going to put out, shorter videos for that series. And then I'm going to drive everybody in the pinned comments and in the end screens into that playlist. And I'm going to spread awareness about that playlist in my video content. Maybe somewhere in the video, just let people know, hey, I've got a whole, playlist full of videos just like this. You can see it at the end of the video, or, there's a link in the description or whatever. But the idea would be to drive people into the playlist because it's short, very short form content. So it's real easy to consume in a playlist format where they can just sit back, they can watch video after video after video on that playlist. So that's what I recommend that you do. Let's see here. So just a heads up too on the, on the 2 to 3 minutes long thing. So of course there are, kind of averages, and people have done studies, across the platform, on data from different size channels and stuff. I think 50,000 and up was the channel size. But basically they found for channels that were 50,000 and up, and this was like 2 years ago. I don't think anybody's updated it. But basically, with that, they found that over a bunch of channels, that around like 7 to 13 minutes was kind of a sweet spot. But, there's other factors that go into that as well. Like, for example, there are channels that are 50,000 subscribers and higher, which means that they've already have established audiences. That means that they already have, the ability to get people to click enough and get people to watch enough and all the stuff that's important as a YouTube content creator to get people, interacting with your stuff. So they already have that ability, right? So because of that, there's other things that can kind of skew that information a little bit. But according to YouTube, they don't care if it's a video or several short videos. The idea is just to keep people watching. They want people on the platform. That's it. Let's see here as we keep on. Who controls YouTube? George Soros, I'm guessing. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. They have a board, a board and all of that. So they have a board. They have CDO. I mean, they're a company, so they have the entire board, shareholders, all that good stuff. So let's see here. So Golden got a sub, says I have a spirit subliminal meditation channel. Nice. I notice I get the most views from YouTube shorts. Is there a reason I get better reach from shorts? Totally. People are responding to your content better in shorts. I'm guessing just because it's short form. 2, in the short shelf, keep in mind, when YouTube is displaying your videos to people, here, I'm just going to do it this way so you can see. When YouTube's displaying your videos to people here, right, on the homepage, and you're just scrolling through, right? And of course, it's not working. There we go. But you're just scrolling through, right? You have to click on one of these videos in order for it to be a view, right? So because of that, when you are in YouTube Shorts, let me go to a short shelf real quick. Where is a short shelf? There's some stories. Let's see here. Let me find the shelf, actually. And I do not... Okay, we're just going with the, okay, we're just navigating to it down on the bottom. So, okay, so here, right, in shorts, when I go here, I'm just going from short to short, okay? So since I'm just going short to short, there's no clicking involved. No clicking is necessary. All I have to do is pay attention for just a little bit of time, and then there's a view. Pay attention a little bit of time, view. Pay attention a little bit of time, view, right? So getting views on shorts is easier just for that, even when they're testing your stuff. Like on your normal video content, when YouTube is showing it around the platform, you're getting impressions. When they're showing your content in the short shelf, as long as people are already in the short shelf, you're getting views. So, so that's going on. So just keep that in mind. Now, of course, if they continue to show your video in the short shelf or not, that's going to come down to, if people are watching your shorts for the duration of the shorts and that kind of stuff. But ultimately, when you start publishing content to the short shelf, the viewer experience is different there. But in addition to that, the competition is also less there. So on the video side, you have over 500 hours. This is mind blowing if you really think about this. You have over 500 hours of video content being uploaded to the platform every single minute. So we've been streaming here for 1 hour and 25 minutes. If you want to do the math on that, you can. But that's the amount of competition that you have on YouTube. Of course, some of that is broken down regionally and things like that. Like it does get divided up. But like there's just a humongous influx 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays, of all of this content pouring into YouTube in normal video content format. But when it comes to the shorts, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I guarantee you, because it's a new feature on YouTube, that the amount of people that are uploading shorts, and you can see it if you look around YouTube, the amount of people that are uploading to shorts is less, and the amount of competition there, because less people are uploading to it, is drastically less. So what you are working with there is, one, the discovery side in terms of like, hey, this is a view, this is a view, this is a view, that, you're getting more views that way, which is probably why they're not counting the watch time. But two, the amount of content that they have to show people in shorts is drastically less than the 500 hours of content that's been uploaded every single minute for the last however long, right? Of course, that number's just been increasing over time, but that's just a ton of competition. So, you got to keep that in mind as well when it comes to the shorts. So let's see here. Fred D says, I want my first video to be a controversial topic that may say some bad yet truthful things about some prominent popular entities. I'm scared of the harassment though. How do I get over that fear? Is it unfounded? So here's the thing. When you publish controversial content, that comes with the territory. So in terms of getting over the fear, if you're afraid of the blowback, then you probably shouldn't publish that type of content, in my opinion. However, if you're like so moved by the content that you're going to be publishing that you're like, hey, I got to get this message out there, then you're just going to have to push through that fear. But the thing is when you're putting out content that is controversial in nature or just negative in nature, and I'm not saying that just because it's controversial means that it's negative, but if it's controversial, that means that for some people it's positive, other people it's negative. So because of that, one thing to keep in mind is that you could end up growing a pretty toxic community. So it'll be divided. So you'll have people that are like, yes, they're all in on, whatever your opinion is, like those people that resonate with you. But then, and typically that's where channels are like, hey, I grow an entire audience of those people, right? But in your case, what you're going to do is you're going to grow the audience of those people, but then you're also going to have a decent amount of people over on this side. And the people on this side are going to be the people that are giving you a hard time in your comments, the people that are reporting your videos, the people that are making other videos about you, talking about how wrong you are or how bad you are or whatever the thing happens to be. But you're going to have a lot of those people too. So just keep in mind, if you're stepping into that genre of content, just in terms of it just being controversial, like you have to embrace that side of it if you're going to be making that type of content, because that's just the reality of what it is that you're going to experience. Same exact thing goes for those channels, where the whole channel is just based around, like negative, stuff where they go after people and like that kind of stuff. Like even channels like that, like you have a similar thing to where you just grow the audiences around people that just like to see other people in bad situations and all of that. So, you gotta be really careful because, and we're going to go off topic here for a second because I think this is an important thing to talk about. But you got to be really careful about what it is that you're doing on YouTube and social media in general, because once you start making a certain type of content, you start publishing that content, the communities that you grow around that content, the conversations that you have around that content, like it becomes something that becomes a continual part of what it is that you experience throughout your day or throughout your week, or, depending on how often you publish and you check in on your YouTube channel. But basically it's like when you're coming up with like video ideas for, controversial things, one of the things that you're doing is you're constantly having to consume content in order to be able to uncover content that's controversial. So then therefore, right, by default, you're constantly putting, all of this stuff, in your head, and you're also just, being consumed by it, yourself essentially, because like in your case, and I don't know anything about you or the specifics of your content. So I'm not like, coming at you, so to speak, but I'm just saying, like, when you start talking about controversial things, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to put yourself in a situation to where you're going to constantly be dealing in the world of controversial subjects. And that can really take a toll on people and send people, kind of down the wrong path mentally. So because of that, I would just be really careful for everybody. I would just be really careful about what it is that you watch, what it is that you publish, just because, this up here, like like this up here determines how you experience every single day. And since this up here determines how you experience every single day, the last thing that you want to do, in my opinion, the last thing that you want to do is just engulf yourself and bury yourself in that type of stuff, to where you're just, every day is like you're, crawling out of a hole, so to speak. So for me personally, I like to lean on, the positive side of things, and just the adding to things versus, taking away for things. I like to encourage people versus tear people down. I like to, inspire people versus, just be negative, towards people and all that. So, because of that, I have to be really careful about, everything that I consume online, because it's really easy to start getting jaded. It's really easy to, to just let that stuff impact you if you know it or not. It's really easy to start letting that stuff, impact us just as humans. That's how our brains work, and start changing the way that we think about things, and ultimately start changing what we think about. So if you spend your time thinking about things that, like, hey, how can I move my life forward? How can I do better? How can I, get better skills? How can I improve what's going on and things like that? Then that will send you in a different direction versus, hey, this person's doing this and that person's doing that, and this person's doing this thing over here, and that person on the TV said this, and that politician did this, and and then you start doing that thing, which then completely can pull you away from from things that are that are actually important. So just something to think about there. But like just because it's controversial does not mean it's negative. So don't again, I said, like, I'm not coming at you in that situation, but I'm just saying, for all of us, it's just important that we protect our mental states, because our mental states determine what it is that we feel every day, and it determines how we see the world, and just how we live our lives. So that just wanted to share that because I have the opportunity to say that in front of like 260 something people here. So I was like, hey, let's just go for it. Okay. So let's see here. So learn Spanish World says, I suck at using cams, lights. Otherwise I'd show my face. So if you suck at using cameras and lights, the easiest way to fix that is to just watch a bunch of YouTube videos on how to use cameras and lights. So if you have the if you have a camera, just sitting down and fiddling with it can really get you a long way. When it comes to lighting, the best thing to do, and I won't say the best because everybody has their methods, but the best thing that's worked for me is turn off everything. Turn off everything in the room, right? Where you totally control the light, unless if you're pulling light in from the window, then that's different. But if you're setting up studio lighting, turn off everything. Turn off everything and then just start lighting from the back and move forward. So what you do in that situation is you'll start running into problems. So if you have anything going on in your background that you're trying to bring attention to, maybe you just put like a little practical back there, kind of like how I have that candle back there, right? So you just put something like that in the background, and then that's just like what you have in the background. You have like a little lamp back there or something like that. And then you start, moving away from the wall a little bit, and then you have the position that you sit in. And then there, you could put a stuffed animal there. You could just sit there and then turn on a light and then come sit down and look in the camera again. But basically what you do is then you start, working on one side. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna get my fill light together. What your fill light is you have in your lights. And right now, for my fill light, I'm just using, because my monitor kind of wraps around, so I'm just using just a web page. I'm using my StreamYard screen right here as a fill light for this side. But essentially what a fill light is it just fills in some of the shadows over on this side, so you don't have just that line going across your face from like a bright source and then, fully shadowed over here. But basically you have your key light, which is the main light. That's what I have right here. And that lights up one side. And then over here, that's where you have your fill light. Now you can do other things also, like, for example, you'll see from this shot, which this isn't a perfect example. It's still not right. But this will illustrate the idea. But you can see here where I've put, and if I move, you'll see the actual light. You can see there's a bar light right there. And the reason that I have that there is because that basically creates a little bit of definition where it kind of separates me from all the stuff that's going on over there, especially when I'm wearing dark clothing. So, keeping those kinds of things in mind as well. If I was doing that the right way, one thing that I would do is I would still have that over there, but I would put maybe up here somewhere, I would put a backlight, and that backlight would actually be shining forward, and then it would just kind of crisp me right here. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Yeah, you can't. So basically, when I record some of my intros and outros for my screen recording videos or just some of my content, I'm recording it over there now. Not there. Right. It's kind of over where that kind of panel of, not there. Right here where this panel of wall is. So what I have set up over there, man, could I show that to you? No, I'm not going to be able to show it to you that I can think of off the top of my head. No. So, but basically with that panel over there, yeah, I can. I got a phone. Give me a second. I'll show you guys real quick. Hold on. Let me email this invite link to myself, and I'll show you what's going on there. In the meantime,
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Let's send it to me. First, before I go over there and before I go through all this, if you want to see that setup, let me know. If you're like, you know what, don't care, just keep asking questions, then let me know that too. And then basically based on that feedback, I will decide to go over there or not. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and send the link just in case the consensus is to show that area over there. So I'm going to pull this link here. You want to know. Okay, so there's one. Show us. Okay. Yeah, give me 1 second here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in on my phone. And then that way that will, I can just move it around and whatnot. So the audio is going to be a little bit weird here, but just bear with me. Should still be okay though. But I just have to let myself in on this side. So allow microphone, start cam, turn to the side, and we're going to turn this one, call it Nick in motion. Oh yeah, the music's coming through. That's good. Sounds all right. Okay. So yeah, so we are good to go. Let me change this view here. Camera here. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. I think I need to go out and then come back in. So we're going to leave because I got to turn my camera around. Let's see. So it's on. Oh, it's already around. Okay. So maybe it's just going to show me the selfie mode. So we'll do it that way then. We are just going to roll with selfie mode, and then I'm going to take you over there and share that to you. So okay, allow, bam, and enter studio. Perfect. And we're going to turn that down for now so it doesn't feed through. We'll actually turn that mic down. Okay. So, and I should have shut this door before. So, let's see here. So basically, here we go. I can use this. So what I do here, this is where I record that stuff, right? So the normal stuff is back here. That's the stuff that you normally see. And then I record that stuff to where I sit here. And then basically I just talk to this setup that's right here, right? But for this, I have a little light right here. And then I have with this little light, this basically shines over as my key light that I was talking about before. And with the key light, what this does is this is like the main light source. Then over here, I have an Elgato, whatever kind of light that's called there, but I have that. And then that acts as a fill. So I have that one relatively low. However, and then I can kind of put this back over here now. Give me 1 second. There we go. So then this right here, this light, this is actually what ends up going behind me. And with this one behind me, this actually puts that light on my shoulders that I was talking about and a little bit on my head so that it kind of separates me from the background in that situation. So then it just ends up, just kind of separating me from all the stuff that's going on back here. So that's kind of what's going on is you want to, when you're doing your lighting, you want to set up something like that. And you can do this in a bunch of different ways, but the core principle for this is that you want to have a key light, you want to have a fill light to fill in the shadows, and then you want to have some type of backlight that that kind of separates you from the background. And there's different ways that you can do that. Of course, you can just put a light on the background, and that would help you kind of separate as well. But when you can have something like this in addition to some stuff going on in the background, then that just kind of levels things up a bit. And this is the music stuff, by the way. This is the music room, so pretty small, but this is the setup. Here, I got my MPC going on over here. For those of you that are into music, got my keyboard here, so we can jam out here. And then I just put a screensaver on here for the live streams, just for the sake of that going on. But yeah, I got the other Rodecaster back here as well that I route everything through. I just have the processing off, so I can just keep my everything sounding good and all that good stuff. But anyway, so that's what's going on there with that. On the lighting side of things. So let me so now we're back, And but yeah, so when it comes to the lighting though, the idea is to, just set everything up in a way to where you are lit properly, but then you have some type of separation from the background. Hey, we got D Nimmin in here. Hey, what's up, D? Hope that you're doing great. Hope that you're doing fantastic. I'm actually going to drop a share link in here soon. Are you going to be able to come on the stream today or no? Let's see here. So as we keep on going through this list, we have next up, I'm going to pull this one here from the form. And on this one, this is from Moo Dusk. Okay, you're coming in? Cool. I will drop that in the group here in just a minute. Let me get through like another question or two, and then I will, and then I'll drop it in there. I'm actually gonna go ahead and drop it, but I just won't hit send yet. Okay, so let's see here. So our next question here is from Moo Dusk. Moo Dusk says that they have an anime YouTube channel. The goal is to one day create a community. And the question is thoughts about hiding sub count. I've hit it 6 months and recently unhit it. Would love your take on it. Love the content. So the reason that that a lot of people will hide subscriber counts is because they are oh, you're on your phone. Oh, okay. So you are coming in. Oh, you'll be coming in like So are you gonna be coming in on your phone? All right, that's cool. That's cool too. What's up, Fly Ride? Nice to see you in here, man. But basically, when you are hiding your subscriber count, it's typically because you're trying to hide that maybe you have a small channel or something. At the end of the day, though, people can see your view counts and all of that, so it really doesn't matter. Some people actually like to support small channels, and they'll do that through a subscribe. So some people, they'll watch a piece of content and they'll be like, "Oh, this person's only got 10 subscribers. Let me help them out," and they'll subscribe. So those sorts of things. So because of that, like I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about hiding your subscriber count. Next up, we've got Martin Hewlett's Martin Hewlett's calming anxiety. Says that they do mindfulness and meditation content. I love that we're having all these mindfulness meditation channels coming in here. I love it. Says the goal of the channel is to expand my global brand and complement my podcast. And the question, I recently did a second live stream on listening back. On listening back, a really bad reverb echo came in after 30 seconds. Now I think the content is valuable. So should I leave this up as evergreen content or delete it? So what you want to do in that case is you can go in and inside of your video, if you did the live stream and that bad reverb came in after 30 seconds, but then it like went away later, you can go in, you can just cut out that clip if you want to. Like if you had it to where it's like, hey, that 30 seconds, you could just cut it hard, like right after that, or you could just cut out that little spot for the sake of, if you noticed that, hey, people are, they're dropping out there because that, reverb came in really bad. Then in that case, you can just go in through the YouTube editor and you can cut that out. Let's see here. So I'm going to drop this in here. So I just dropped the link in the group there, D, and anybody else that wants to come in. So let's see here. As we are going through the list while I'm waiting for them or him or however many folks end up coming in here to show up, we've got Retro Dad 64. Says they do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to make a full-time income. The question says, hey, Nick, I'm excited to catch another live stream. Typically watch your VOD for a whole week of driving to work. Nice. My question is it better to focus on a niche you love but seems oversaturated, or one that you can really enjoy and has less competition? Thanks for everything. You freaking rock. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. So when it comes to making content and making content that's oversaturated versus content that's a little bit that's a little bit easier to compete in, I recommend that you go with what you love. And the reason I recommend that you go with what you love is because, kind of like I was talking about before, on making sure that you are, growing the community that you want, and that you are, making sure that you're, basically engulfing yourself in all of the right things. If you're making content about something that you love, then you're going to become known as that person that makes that type of content. So then you are going to have people asking you questions about it. You're going to be invited into things, around that content if your channel starts doing well and things like that. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you are doing something that you love. If you're like, hey, I'm going to be doing this for quite some time, and if it does turn into something, I want to make sure that you're doing something that you enjoy. And the whole idea with that is because YouTube is hard. And since YouTube is hard, it takes a lot to actually see it through. And the thing that in some cases can push you over to make you see it through is just your love for the thing that you're doing and your love for sharing what it is that you're doing as well. Like that can be the difference between you continuing to do YouTube and then having success versus you hitting a rough spot and then being like, this isn't for me. If you're doing something you really enjoy, then it's a lot easier to see it through versus if you're doing something because, just because it might be easier. At the end of the day, though, when it comes to competition, when it comes to something being saturated, nothing is saturated. Every type of channel on YouTube has somebody that is new to the space that is coming and they're doing okay, right? Or they're doing great in some cases. So like people will say things like, like in your case, you have a gaming channel and people will be like, hey, if I go into gaming, it's super saturated. I don't even know if I should be making gaming content, but you see gaming creators on the rise all the time. If you go look at the trending stuff on YouTube. So, you'll see gamers all the time where people are, just really responding to that creator. They're making some really good content choices and all that. And even though they are brand new or they've just been going for a little bit in a very saturated market, they've found a way to stand out and they've just started making content that really serves the audience and they love it. So because of that, when you're looking at, something being saturated or not and making the decision on if you should go into it or not, just think about, hey, how can I do this in a way to where I can really, lean into my talents and my skills and that I can, make sure that I'm connecting with the audience around the love of this thing. And just focusing on that, I think, is the win. All right. So let's see here. Let me go to bounds.
Señoras y señores, mi hermano de la misma madre que está en estos momentos atrapado en México, Nimmin.
D,
Hola.
my brother from the same mother. What is going on, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic.
That was a new intro.
That was the same one.
Really?
That was the same one you got last time. Yeah, you get that the whole time you're in Mexico. So it'll change. But, for now, while you're down there, while you're in Mexico, that is the man, that's your theme song, like it or not.
I feel like I need a sombrero or something. Like just,
Hey, it would be a good touch. I mean, I'm not saying you have to, but it would be a great touch for sure.
You know me, I like to go all out. I might look to get a sombrero.
You do.
Yeah.
Next time he's probably going to show up in a sombrero. Here, hold on.
How's everybody doing? You got a great crowd today.
We do. We absolutely have an awesome crowd here today, as we do every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me pop open this macros thing. Why is
that
this
was a cool studio tour that you did?
Yeah, was it like I wasn't doing it for the tour? I was doing it more for lighting. So somebody had mentioned that they struggle with lighting. So the whole thing was basically just showing the setup for when I record videos. Because typically I don't record them here. Sometimes I do. But I've got like a whole little setup over on that side now. And I've got that one set up where I can basically just go in, sit down, record something, and then, come over here, put it in the computer and all that good stuff. So that's where I do most of the recording now.
Pretty sweet.
So if you were over here, you'd see it, man. You'd see it if you were over here. So next up on our list, you ready to answer some questions, D?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So next question that we have here says is from a Cozy Home. Says, I'm a very new channel, but I had to stop posting the last 3 months due to working long hours. Now I'm trying to create 8 videos before I release again. As I continue getting well and get ahead. Is this okay? Yeah, it's fine to create the content, but really I would just go ahead and start putting it out. So instead of waiting until 8 videos are finished, like I would just be like, hey, this is number 1, and I'm just going to get that video out there. I would just go ahead and just start publishing because, what you don't want to happen is you don't want to have a very long period of time where you're not publishing content. So even if, let's say you normally publish on like a weekly basis, then in that case, if you're like, hey, I'm just going to start dripping these videos out as I get them done, and you start publishing like once every 3 weeks, it's better than not publishing for 2 or 3 months, right? So because of that, I would definitely just start publishing them as you are getting them done versus just waiting until you have all 8 videos finished. But then once you do that, if you can get ahead on those so that you can have that peace of mind, once you do get those 8 videos, out, then, continuing to try to get ahead of it so that in the event something like this happens again, that you have some content in the can that you can, use to keep the ball rolling, so to speak, is definitely the approach that I would take. But keep in mind, as long as you have traffic coming into your channel, you can take breaks. But I would just try to make those breaks as small as just keep them to what's necessary. Any thoughts on that, D?
No, 100%. I was just going to say there's something that happens mentally when you have a couple of videos in the can to where you're not constantly panicked about not having an upload. It's just like I don't know. It's if anybody's in the chat right now and you have content sitting there that you can upload at any given time or just publish at any given time, it just takes a weight off your shoulders knowing that you have something there, so you're not always in a state of panic where you're like, I got to make a video, but I don't have time to make a video. How am I going to make a video? I don't worry about it. I've got 6 videos sitting up there ready to go.
Truth. Bad Drivers of Bangalore says, what's your tip for YouTubers who were successful earlier, 10,000 views a day, and now hardly get 500 views a day? Ever since I got hacked a month ago, my channel was off for 2 days after hack. Yeah, so what you need to do now is you need to, one, just focus on, just continuing to publish good content, because if you're getting 10,000 views a day, you know what it is, you know what you're doing, and people respond well to what it is that you're doing. So what you have to do now is to just keep walking that road, so that you can start having viewers coming back in, interacting again. But one thing that I would do is I would be very strategic about where it is you're sending people, and I would try to keep people in your own loop as much as you possibly can. So basically, instead of just having a video finished with like a little bumper on the back for your end screen, I'd be recommending them very specific pieces of content. I'd be recommending it in a pinned comment as well, and I would also be thinking of content and sets that you can take people through right now versus just one-off videos. And the reason for that is because, you want to try to get people to watch, more than one video if possible, so that YouTube can determine that originating piece of content is good enough to have people watching more than one, so that they'll end up, showing it to more people. So I would definitely, lean on that. Another thing that I would do is I would go through your content library, and I would look at the content that has performed well for you in the past, and I would make some similar content on that too. And you can go into your analytics, you can see the content that was, driving the channel, so to speak, right before you got hacked. So I would use that content as like, hey, this is the stuff that people love from me. And I would start, maybe even remaking some of that content, or at least making, logical next, videos for that content. Additional thoughts, D?
No, it's exactly what I was going to say, is going into your analytics and look at what's performing right now. Or you could look right before you got hacked, what was performing during this date range before I got hacked, and I would go all in. I would actually go through and start remaking those videos. And it's unfortunate that so many people are getting hacked right now. Here's the thing, though. Yeah. And I know some people are getting cracked through passwords and so on and so forth. Don't click on things that people send out to you in emails. That's where a lot of people gain access to your channel. What's that?
DMs also.
Yeah, and DMs, right? You'll get DMs from companies who want you to, hey, we'd love to pay you $1,000 to do some sort of an intro for our product. We'll pay you $1,000 or $1,500 for 20 seconds. A lot of times it sounds too good to be true, because it is. All you have to do is install our VPN or click on this, and you click on that and it's over. They're going to get access to your channel. So you have to make sure that you're not clicking on random things through emails. Only open things from reputable brands. Look at the actual sender. Make sure that it actually comes from the company. You really need to put in your due diligence here to make sure that you're not clicking on something that's going to end up getting you hacked, because that is what's happening at scale right now. You have to be super careful.
Yep, and also never connect your YouTube channel out of an email. So like if you have somebody with what D said, that another popular thing with that one is they will send you an email, and they'll offer you like a sizable amount of money to where you're thinking to yourself like, wow, I could really use this right now. And then you'll click on it. Like part of the thing will be like, yeah, just go here, authorize your channel, just connect your YouTube channel so that we can look at your demographics or something like that is what they'll say. And then you'll go and you'll connect your YouTube channel. And by doing that, because you're not actually connecting it through through Google, so they're scraping everything, and then you end up basically opening yourself up there.
And some of the
Roberto Blake in the house that he's coming on as well to talk about this.
Awesome.
You are more than welcome, my friend, as always.
Yeah, he just made a video about Graham Stefan about losing his channel, unrelated to getting hacked, but that was a really interesting video. Another thing those scammers are doing is they're telling you that they can get you views. Like, hey, we can offer you views and subscribers. You just have to connect your account, and then they got you.
Yeah. Yeah, be really, really careful.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Is it good to partner with an indie developer to be their main tester for their games? If you want to be like like if your channel is like, hey, part of the content that we're doing is making games about content or about games that people aren't seeing yet, like you're, like an insider, then in that case, if you are wanting to be that person, then absolutely. I would just make sure that you're being clear with yourself in terms of what it is that you're offering to your viewership. That, one pillar of your content is that you're the person that, that kind of not kind of, but you just let people know about new games that are on the way, or that have just come out from indie developers.
I think that'd be a really cool niche if you had an end. If you had an end to talk about games that were coming.
Yeah,
right?
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Interesting.
Anything like that, like I thought it was cool. I know, and we haven't had any contact since, but I thought it was cool. Like Microsoft reached out like a long time ago. I think I had like 50,000 subscribers, and they reached out and they're like, hey, we just want some feedback and like this kind of stuff, and we'll let you know some like new features. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, this is great. Just getting to be on the inside of some of that. I think I'm still in their tester thing, but I don't like do anything with it. But it's just cool, getting those types of opportunities. It's a little side bonus of being a YouTuber.
Well,
right?
The cool thing about that is you never know where those relationships are going to go. So today they might be an indie developer. 3 years from now, they could be running one of the biggest game companies in the world, and you got your foot in the door.
Yep.
So build relationships.
Yep. So next up on our list here, we've got Simply Simmer. Simply Simmer says they do gaming Sims for speed builds. A goal of the channel is I'd love to go full-time with my Sims 4 videos one day. The question is, for the video I'm uploading today, I created a thumbnail that I absolutely love, and it looks much different than the other thumbnails on my channel. I've been trying to come up with thumbnail designs that are attention-grabbing, but also clean and sharp, because I believe my current thumbnails are too cluttered. I think that I have the right design now, but should I leave my current thumbnails or go through and edit thumbnails on my previous videos? So first, you want to make sure that the thumbnail that you think is awesome is as awesome as you think it is. And you can through TubeBuddy, just as a heads up. And again, I've got a link to that down in the description. They're also a sponsor of the live stream. But basically with TubeBuddy, one of the things with them is they have a tool called A/B testing. And within their A/B testing tool, you can actually make thumbnails for some of your older videos, and you can test your thumbnail and its performance against the performance of the thumbnails of those older videos that are currently there. So that's a really excellent function, or a great function for TubeBuddy, one of the things that they do. And if you are in that situation, I really recommend that you do that, because then in that way, instead of going and just changing a thumbnail for the sake of changing it because you think it looks better, any changes that you commit to are going to be based on performance versus just what you think is better, right? So because of that, I would definitely use the A/B testing tool for that.
I believe there was a part 1 to that question where they were asking that they wanted to make a thumbnail that looks different than the others. Did I understand that correctly? Yeah,
they just said they're trying to come up. It wasn't a question. It was just part of what they were talking about. It says, I'm trying to come up with the thumbnail designs that are attention grabbing, but also clean and sharp. But they created that the new one, they love it. And it looks much different than the other thumbnails on my channel. So yeah, so that was part of the conversation.
Okay.
So if you want to,
yeah, look, here's the thing. The purpose of the thumbnail is to, 1, stop people from scrolling, get their attention, and 2, win the click. Get the click. If it doesn't do that, you don't get the views. If you don't get the views, you don't get the watch time, so on and so forth. It starts with that topic and thumbnail. So if you have to change your thumbnail in order to get a better click, I'm all for it. I think there is strength in having some branding elements in your thumbnail, but at the end of the day, if the thumbnail is not getting clicked, you're going to have to change it to where it is getting clicked. I have thumbnails on my channel that look nothing like the other thumbnails that I have with other videos, because as my traffic sources changed, I've had to change those thumbnails in order to get a response. And for reasons unknown, my typical style just wasn't working for that topic in a particular traffic source. So I changed the thumbnail to make it work better. And I'm okay with that, because if I win the click, I win.
Next up on our list, we've got A+ Russian. Says, what does it take for YouTube to show my videos to 1,000 versus hundreds of people currently? In my second week, 29 subscribers, 500 views, 7 videos, 2 uploads in a week. So it comes down to performance. That's it. So by performance, what I mean by that is like when you get 100 views and it just stops at 100 views, the reason for that is because the people that YouTube is testing that content against, they're not responding great to that content. Whereas if you publish a video and you get thousands of views, then you have a lot more people responding positively to that content. And since they're responding positively to that content, then YouTube is basically looking through their system to figure out who's a good fit for that particular content at that point in time. So what's happening there is you are just having one video that's performing better than the other. Now, where it's performing, you'll be able to unpack in your analytics, but it can come down to, one, maybe people experience the video the same exact way. Maybe in terms of, how long they watch each video, maybe it's the same. However, maybe one of them, they click on it way more from home pages compared to the other one where they mainly just click on it from search from time to time. And because of that, Since people are clicking on it more in search, YouTube will show it there, but you just don't have as many people going to search for it compared to it showing the other one to a lot of people on their homepage, for example. So, when videos perform differently, you can go into your analytics and you can start uncovering why it is that those videos perform differently based on, the click-through rate, based on the average view duration, based on the complete rate of that video, based on, you can also just base some things just on topic as well. Like, hey, just in general, this topic is more popular. Since there's more people interested in this topic, I obviously have a higher click-through rate on this and just, more interaction on this video in general, just because the topic is more popular compared to, to the other video as well.
Sometimes just choosing the wrong topic and uploading it at the wrong time in terms of just not the relevancy, right? If you happen to upload, like if you were uploading, so Instagram turning into a TikTok-ish platform right now is really hot. So if you were to upload a video talking about, Instagram turning into TikTok, right now is something trending, it's going to be really popular. There's a good chance if the thumbnail's good and audience retention is good, that the video is going to get some legs in most cases. But if you were to talk about the same thing a year from now or 2 years from now, it's not going to be that relevant. It's not going to be that popular, so the video is not going to get as much legs as it normally would. A lot of my top videos had to do with timing and topic, relevancy and topic.
Rebel EJ says, Nick, I love you, man. Based on your video on authoritativeness, if I can achieve that in different niches, is it a good idea to have several niches on one channel? For example, video editing, motivation, and even Spanish and English. I enjoy that. Thanks. So what I would recommend, man, is I recommend focusing on like a thing on a channel, but more importantly, or a better way to look at it, I should say, is thinking about like who it is that's interacting with the channel. Because what it is that you ultimately want to accomplish is you want the person that watches video A to also watch video B. And since they love video A and B, they go to your channel and they're like, hey, what else does this person have? Let me go and watch some more of their content. And what happens is, let's say that somebody came in for your motivational content and they're like, wow, this is great. I want to start my day with this YouTube channel because it just fires me up every single, because it fired me up in this video. So I'm going to bookmark this. I'm going to come here every single day. And then they come to your channel and then they start seeing like video editing content and Spanish content. If they're an English speaker, or English content and they're a Spanish speaker, then what you start doing is you start polluting the entire experience for everybody that's coming into your channel for all of those different things. So ultimately what you want as a content creator is people to come in because you made the content and they just want to watch it because you made it. Ultimately, that's what you want. But unfortunately, the way that YouTube works is you are going to have those people. And as your channel, keeps on growing and, you're thriving, you will have people that come in and they'll watch, pretty much anything that you publish. But what you want to think about is you want to think about the masses. And how it works with the masses is when you have somebody come in and they watch one of your videos, when they go to your channel or when YouTube's recommending some of your other content to them, you want to make sure that all of that content or as much of that content as possible is in alignment with the things that those people are clicking on any of the other videos for, that are bringing them into your, that are spreading awareness about you. So when it comes to, putting a bunch of different things on the one channel, the way that you work against yourself is that you make it harder for people to find what it is that they care about on your channel. Two, when YouTube is recommending your content, you can also end up hurting your click-through rate initially when you're publishing that video as well, because that, like let's say if people are coming in and the main content that's driving your channel is motivational content, right? Let's just say that. And if those people that are coming in for the motivational content, they're watching, a bunch of your motivational videos, and then you start hitting, like 2 or 3 videos that have, a video editing content. They don't care about video editing. They're not content creators. They don't do anything related to video editing. You just created a disconnect with those people that subscribe for the motivational content. And what will happen is they'll end up unsubscribing to your channel, and they'll end up subscribing to a channel that just focuses on motivational content, because they know that every single video that gets presented to them, if they bookmark it and they come back to that channel to watch more motivational content, they know that every single thing that they click on that YouTube channel, regardless of how it's packaged from the outside, they know that it's going to be something motivational. Same exact thing goes if you have an entire channel about video editing or an entire channel about speaking English or speaking Spanish. The same exact thing happens there. So because of that, what you want to think about is you just want to think about, when it comes to the specific content that you're putting out, you want to think about who it is that you're making content for. And when you start thinking of who it is that you're making content for, it really opens you up, because then you can start being creative, and you can start saying, okay, if I'm making content for video editors, now instead of, even worrying about the motivational content as a standalone, I can start making motivational content for video editors. I can start making, content that is video editing, but within that video editing content, I can be trying to, motivate video editors to keep going, or if they're having a hard time to, hey, see it through because video editing is awesome, like that kind of stuff. But when you know who it is that you're reaching, then in that case, it becomes not necessarily a limit on the content. I mean, it kind of is, but it changes the way that you approach the content that you're publishing. So since you watch my content, we'll do it this way. So if I were to publish a video on my YouTube channel, that is YouTube tips, then of course, you guys will enjoy that video. If I publish something about live streaming, not everybody will enjoy it, but the live streamers will. And of course, YouTube knows, the live streamers that are interacting with my content. But all of that stuff is still for YouTube content creators. In addition to that, I can talk about like mindset stuff, which I do from time to time, just kind of holding it together, avoiding burnout, the things that YouTubers deal with. And that also resonates with you, even though it's not a YouTube tip content, it's not live streaming content, it's still a good fit for the core audience, which is YouTube content creators. Same exact thing goes if I were to be experimental. If I were to make a skit video, then a skit comedy video, then I would have to make, not that I would have to, but it would be smart for me to make that skit comedy video around things that YouTube content creators would relate to, so that when I publish that piece of content, even though it might not be a tip video, it might not be a mindset video, it might not be a piece of live streaming content or, anything related to like the tech behind YouTube, but it would be something completely different that I've never done on the channel before. But if I do the right thing within that skit, it's still a great fit for you. So that's the way that you want to approach what it is that you're doing, because if you know who it is that you're after, then it actually widens you out. And then you can really lean on your creativity to think, okay, if I'm making content for people that are into this type of content, then, what are all of the different things that I could do that would be a great fit for that audience? And that's the approach that you want to take.
I love that. I want to add something. Like, a lot of these questions can be answered by thinking of things in reverse. Instead of thinking of things as the YouTube creator, instead of thinking it as someone who's uploading to a channel, reverse it and start being mindful of your own habits on YouTube and start thinking about it from a viewer's perspective. Start noticing how you are interacting with channels. When you find a new channel, pay attention to what you're doing on the channel. Do you go in and do you look at the rest of their content, and what do you decide, or what makes you decide how you subscribe? Is it because if you land on a channel that has a lot of similar content you're interested in, do you subscribe? For example, I bought the new Mac Mini. I've been learning Logic Pro. So I've been watching tons of tutorials on setting up Mac and specifically on Logic Pro. And what I found is if I go to a channel and they're primarily focused on Logic Pro, I'm subscribing if I like the creator. But what I'm not subscribing, and then I'll start to steer away from channels, if I'm like, oh, that's a great Logic Pro video. And then I go in and they're like, oh, they just did a vlog about going to pick up healthy food at the, I'm not interested in that. And then here's another thing about like, hey, we're talking about something completely different about, I'm going to show you how to tune guitars. I'm not interested in that. I don't subscribe to those channels. So I'm very mindful of my own habits, and that's helped me apply that to my own channel. And I think that helps tremendously. It's just being mindful of how you interact, what you click on, what you don't click on, what you watch, what you don't watch, so on and so forth.
And with that too, like in relation to what Dee was talking about, other things too, like in his case, if he's subscribing to channels, because of the logic that because they talk about Logic Pro, then in that case, like I also subscribe to some of those channels, but I know some of them, like I think it's Kara is her name. Like she does like Ableton, she does Logic, she does Fruity Loops, she does like all kinds of stuff. But when I see a Logic video, I'll click on it and I'll go and watch it because she's awesome. Yeah. But when some of the other stuff, like if she makes an Ableton video, YouTube will show it to me, right? But I won't click on it because it's not, related to me. So all of the people that are in her audience that are not into, into Ableton, for example, or Logic or any of the other things that she does, for all of those people, they're actually hurting her, her click-through rate. She still does great. But I'm just saying, like those are just things that you got to think about when you're publishing your content.
Same thing happens on my channel. Oh, what was that?
Same thing happens on Dee's channel.
At last, the Sith Lord of YouTube, Roberto Blake.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, guys, do you notice like my video quality is any different?
Yes, it's actually really pixelated from my view.
What? Really?
Yeah, mine
Yeah, are
too.
you seeing that too?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Wow.
All right, everybody in
really?
the chat, is Roberto pixelated or is he like looking smooth? What do we got here?
He came in to talk about a new camera or something that he just bought, and it just didn't work out the way he thought it was going to work.
Let me try this. Maybe it's a bandwidth issue.
Might be. It's actually
It could
clearing
be.
up. It's actually looking
Yeah.
a little bit
So what
better.
I did was I just went down to 720 from 1080, and the bandwidth, I guess, improved it.
So the camera itself, is it pushing? Is it like pulling in like 4K? Is it trying to push out 4K?
Well,
or is
right
it-
now what I did was I changed the lens on the Sony a6600. I bought the new compact lenses. I bought the 24 millimeter compact, and I bought the f2.8, and I bought the 40 millimeter f2.5 compact. And right now this is the 24. And the thing is, I've seen that it feels sharper. I feel like because it also is f2.8 instead of the f4 I was using, the bokeh in the background is a little bit better. It's a little cleaner. And so I thought that definitely would improve it. But here is something new. Since we want to talk about new cameras, though, what if I do this? How's
Nice.
that
Yeah,
look?
the other camera definitely looks better.
I know, but this doesn't
Yeah.
look bad, right?
Not at all. Yeah.
This
not
is
at
the
all.
new Elgato face cam, gentlemen.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, it's not bad. So let me just switch back to the better camera, though. But, you know,
I
it's
actually
just...
haven't watched any of the videos yet on the new Elgato face cam, and this is the
Really?
first example. Nope, that was the first example.
They
I've
put out
seen.
like an interface or something too, didn't they?
Yeah, they put out a lot of stuff this week. They won the internet. They won the internet.
Yeah, those. I had. I think it was like 2 days ago. I opened YouTube and I saw just like my entire homepage, and I didn't click on any of them just because I know what's going on. But like the entire top homepage was like, you know, Elgato, blah blah blah.
Embargo day, gentlemen. Embargo day. Like my video isn't done.
Stand embargoes. I just can't
My
say.
video isn't done because what I'm doing is I'm doing a streaming desk tour is how I wanted to intro that camera. I wanted instead of just because everyone's going to do, and maybe I'd get views doing that. And I might do a like 1 month later type review, like when people actually are buying it and stuff. But the main thing is, or maybe I'll do it on Creator Gear Guide, but the main thing is I wanted to do a desk setup tour for streaming specifically, and then talk about the face cam and these different camera setups, the Atom Mini, the Stream Deck, the Rodecaster, all of it, you know, and just do like a nice little, and I did something really nice with a camera I can't talk about yet. I shot on a camera I can't talk about yet. Embargo. But I did it so that I'll have a point of reference later for the cinematic shots, because this is going to be a great budget camera that's coming out. So
Nice. So Roberto, so you wanted to talk about the channels getting deleted / hacked thing. What are your thoughts?
yeah, no, there's a lot going
Leron,
on.
what's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Don't get to see you in here often, so nice to see you swinging by.
Hey, Leroy.
Go ahead, Roberto.
Yeah, there's a lot in terms of, I mean, where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start with the sweeps of channels, or do y'all want to start with the hackers? And
Let's start with the
security?
hacker. Yeah,
Okay,
start
so
with
like security. So like there's a lot of stuff going on. For one thing, there's like fake brand deals, and it doesn't matter how big you are, it's fake brand deals, and it's largely playing off of small creators' desperation to do brand deals and to say, oh, because you know, there's a whole thing with wanting to do the brand deal to feel legitimate. I'm finding that when I talk to a lot of smaller creators, their whole thing with brand deals isn't even largely about money. It's that they feel that if they do a brand deal, it'll mean something, and it'll mean that like they've actually like earned their place in a niche, or that people might respect them or feel differently. They're not even really thinking about the brand deal itself for the money, or even about the brand. They're thinking about the perception of them. When you have something like that that's emotionally driven, it makes people vulnerable to scams and fraud and to being manipulated. It's very predatory. It's predatory in the same way that YouTube MCNs, multi-channel networks, even I was a small YouTuber once upon a time, MCNs come in and they make you all these promises, and largely ends up being a pyramid scheme. The scammers and the hackers are working the same way, whether they're promising to help you.
Dude.
Yeah,
Hey,
whether it's things connecting to your channel that are promising to help you. Like a lot of people, They were skeptical about TubeBuddy and vidIQ because of the channel connection stuff and the controls that those permissions give. And you should be skeptical, but those are YouTube certified companies. These other places, you can't do any background. They don't have influencers representing them, people of a good reputation and standing anyway. So it's, but it makes people who don't know any better vulnerable to fraud and to losing their channels. And then the other thing is, even seasoned creators, sometimes something will look like a standard brand deal and there'll be a link. You got to think about it. And the one thing I would definitely tell you is, do not use the email for your YouTube account for anything other than your YouTube account. The thing that logs into and signs into your YouTube account, do not use that as the info or contact in your about section of YouTube. Don't make that email public if you can help it. Sometimes it's obvious to figure out or to find, but the less people that know about that email, the less vulnerable you are for that compromising your YouTube account. I wouldn't even use that same login for your other social medias. I would separate it. I wouldn't use those same accounts and email addresses for your banking and business accounts, or even for your PayPal, to be honest. And that's why you also don't give out your email address for PayPal. You give out your paypal.me link. You give out your paypal.me link. You limit how many people know about this information and know about these accounts. And then it's much more difficult. It's not impossible, but it's less likely for anyone to compromise an account they don't know exists.
Same thing goes for your About Me page. Like, change that email immediately if it is connected to your YouTube account. So the email that's in your About Me page, like in a lot of cases, content creators will just put the Gmail account that's connected to their YouTube account. Change that right now. If that's what's in your About Me page, set up a new Gmail account and have that Gmail account as your public facing Gmail account, and put that in your About Me page for your business inquiries.
Exactly. And this is what a lot of the professional YouTubers do. Usually, eventually they do it. Like, a lot of them, after talking to someone or bad things happening, or if they consult or hire a coach, that they'll tell them about these things. You want to do that. And then you also, you want to make sure you understand and that you know how these things happen. And the big thing is clicking on links that are from people you don't know and things too good to be true. And you just need to be very, very careful with that. Another thing is just have two-factor authentication for everything. And, obviously don't give out your phone number all willy-nilly or anything like that. But you want to just put as many roadblocks and walls between things that are vulnerable and things that you care about, things that would be a big deal, and the general public, the outside world, any random person out there, because you just don't know who's watching. You don't know who these people are. It's a stranger on the other side of the screen. So literally, just straight up, content creators, take stranger danger seriously.
Right. So we had a super chat come in. We actually had a couple. I want to address these really quick. The first one's from Shannon Ambrosio. Says, I have 3 playlists: cooking, building, and live stream podcast. Should I start new channels for each playlist or keep them all in one channel? So if all of these are targeted towards the same people, then in that case, it's fine. But if these are all targeted towards different people, like, the cooking content has nothing to do with what it is that you actually talk about in your live stream podcast, then in that case, I would put them separately. So like I had mentioned before, what you want to think about is you want to think about who it is that you're trying to reach with your content. And if the content and everybody is not the right answer, by the way, but you want to think about who it is that you're trying to reach with your content. And then you want to make sure that the choices that you make around the content that you publish to your YouTube channel are as good of a fit for that audience that you're trying to reach as possible. So like I said before, if your podcast is about cooking or something related to that audience, then it's fine. But if it's something completely different, then my recommendation would be to start a different channel for it, or just put it somewhere else, like on a podcast platform, for example. What are your thoughts, guys?
Don't sell power tools in a sushi shop.
There we go.
Great. Don't sell power tools in a sushi shop. You're a sushi shop, be a sushi shop. If you're a vegan restaurant, don't offer Mongolian barbecue. For real,
right.
For real. Just really this
offer
comes
Korean
down to
instead. Everybody knows the vegetarians eat that Mongolian.
Yeah, just my thing is, if you're being thoughtful toward the viewer, in my mind, really being thoughtful toward the viewer, it's less about, I want to express all these things about you. You could do that, but don't complain about anything and don't worry about growth then. If you're purely doing expression, don't worry about growth. But if your goal is, I want to grow, I want to be a full-time YouTuber, because like if you're a hobbyist, variety channels, you can be a hobby creator all you want. If you're gonna be a variety channel, you could be a hobby creator all you want. If you say I want to be a full-time YouTuber, full-time anybody focuses. Full-time career anything focuses and benefits from focus if you're serious. That's what I would say about that. Because it's the thing is, it's then you're taking your ego out of it and you're putting the audience first.
D?
No, I agree. You know, I know a lot of people get started, and I get this a lot in my streams. People say, I have so many interests. I want to do them all. I want to do them all. I just want to do all these things. And I agree with what Roberto said. That's fine. It's your channel. Do whatever you want. If you want to do all sorts of different things in your channel, that's perfectly fine. But just understand that it's probably going to massively slow your growth. So choose one. Do you want to grow faster, or do you want to do all the things? It's a choice you're going to have to make.
You know, too, like as human beings, like everybody's into a bunch of things.
Everybody
like, you know,
is.
that's not like a unique thing. Like everybody is into like a bunch of things. So, you know, so it's not necessarily that you are limiting your interests, because you're still going to be interested in those things. It's just you're focusing the value that you're bringing to a specific audience on a specific audience. So, so that's the way that you want to think about that.
And there's strategy involved there as well. I mean, you have to think about, let's just say, hey, I want to grow a channel and I want to monetize a channel. I want to become an influencer, YouTuber, however you want to word it. You need to think about strategy. Not only do you have to niche down, but you have to think about how am I going to monetize this content down the road as well. So you got to put some thought into it.
Next up, we have, I need to shorten my video length, but I have 30-minute piece of content about hypertension. How should I break this into a playlist or series?
Why do you need to shorten the video length?
That's exactly what I was going to say. So first, like, why do you need to shorten the video length? So just because you mentioned hypertension, I'm just going to, and your name is Fit Dad, I'm going to assume that, you know, it's fitness and all of that, health related things. So like Dr. Sten, who is in this community as well, he's in the chat from time to time. He just crossed 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, and a lot of his content is really long content. Like if you were to look at his content, you would think, you know, like by all the things that you hear people talk about with YouTube, you would think like, you know, hey, there's no way somebody might watch this for a long period of time, but that's not the case at all. People love his content. Watch these really long videos, but like his videos, it's him explaining things in detail. Very, like, you learn a ton in his videos, but he does them as a presentation. So he has like a TV there, and he just does the presentation, and he just talks through all of the information. So by the time you're done with this video, you feel like you're a doctor in terms of how well he explains
the
things.
people who complain about it being over 10 minutes are the vocal minority, and you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to cater to the vocal minority. Like a lot of you will make decisions about your entire channel, not off the analytics, they're the aggregate of everyone actually watching, and you'll make decisions about your channel off of like 5 or 10 people commenting instead of the aggregate of 1,000 people who watched the actual video content in terms of the data. You're sitting there listening to the vocal minority in the comment section instead of what the data and the analytics are telling you. And the reality is, if you have retention rates that are high, the longer videos aren't the problem. And people keep like hyping up YouTube shorts as if that works for everybody, when it's literally a bunch of unicorns that get the views and go viral off of YouTube shorts. And the reality is this: D'Angelo Wallace broke out as a content creator by doing a 40-minute 50-minute freaking documentary on Shane Dawson and the Tati Westbrook and all of that crazy drama and everything like that. People sit there and they will sit there with bated breath and watch a D'Angelo Wallace video that's 50 minutes long, literally 2 months after the drama that actually happened. So he doesn't even have to be first, nor does he have to be short. He made a name for himself by being the most thorough, deep dive investigator into whatever situation is happening in the internet that you could want to watch. And there are plenty of people who have done things like that and proven themselves. Jared Polin made, instead of doing the short 10-minute camera review, he did what's called the real world review, and he kind of made a staple and a name for himself in the camera space by literally doing these 40 and 30-minute deep dives, showing you a camera on a photo shoot in the real world. He even got millions of views on videos that are literally 45-minute user guides for cameras that you would go out and buy, especially the budget cameras, so that beginners have a resource. And then we have Dr. Sten. Do not sit there and think for 1 minute that long form content cannot win on YouTube. Video essay channels like Lindsay Ellis, even small channels that have done, you want to talk about gaming, without doing true Let's Play content. There was a channel, Enter the Unknown, that broke out. We've talked about it on this channel before. That channel, when it was like 7,000 subscribers, it broke out because the guy did a challenge. He did challenge videos. He made himself the Mr. Beast of Pokemon video games by saying, can I beat Pokemon without capturing any Pokemon, only with gifted Pokemon? Can I beat Pokemon without using items? Can I beat this Pokemon game with Ash's original team from the anime? Like, your only limit is your actual creativity and then your resources, if that's the case. And so I would just say be very thoughtful and just remember that we all watch Avengers movies for 4 hours without a bathroom break.
Right.
It's good enough. It's good enough.
And somebody in the chat mentioned, well, first, Sean just said that that they just uploaded a 2-hour Final Cut tutorial to their YouTube channel. So they're embracing the long form. Somebody mentioned CoffeeZilla here.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes. And, he just published a video 2 weeks ago, 37 minutes long with 1.4 million views on it. So, so the idea that you have to make short content, it's just not true. If people, respond to your long form stuff, then you can embrace that long form stuff, that long form content. Okay. So next question that we have here on the list, we will just go ahead and pull this out. I saw one that was in here and I tried to pin it, but it went by. So let me scroll up here. Okay. I did a review, and this is from T-Hand Homestead. Says, I did a review for a product and I want to ask the company to sponsor my live streams on StreamYard by paying for my StreamYard subscription. Is that enough compensation? It's up to you. That's up to you in terms of if that's enough compensation, because what you are doing is you are bringing awareness to what it is that they have to their company. You're gonna lead to sales on their end. So in terms of if that's enough, if all you're wanting is them to cover your StreamYard, then that's enough. But if you're like, maybe StreamYard plus a few bucks, then in that case, I would approach them with that. But I would approach them with something that would leave you a little bit of negotiating room versus just saying, hey, I just want you to pay for my StreamYard membership. Because
ask to become an affiliate.
Say that again.
Ask to become an affiliate.
Yeah, ask them to become an affiliate as well. So either one, but basically, when they're sponsoring you, then you're just getting that the money that they're giving you. When you do become an affiliate, like Roberto was talking about, then in that situation, you are giving yourself the opportunity to generate income long term from each piece of content that you put out, instead of just getting a StreamYard, your StreamYard covered for your channel. So some different options for you there, some different ideas for you there. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, I'm going to pull this one from the form. And this question is from Beanie Draws. Beanie Draws says, let's see here. The type of channel is drawing really big extinct lizards. The goal of the channel is helping others draw really big extinct lizards. And the question is, I already asked you this for your podcast, but to keep a long story short, channel tags, not video tags, do they matter anymore? Are they worth worrying about? Or does channel information come from the videos mostly and about page and not the channel tags? The most important thing that's going to do everything for you on your YouTube channel is the actual video content. So there's all the little detail things that you can do, and you want to do them because, it's best practices and you want to make sure that you're kind of checking all the boxes, so to speak. However, the thing that actually is going to matter, the thing that's going to move your YouTube channel and get you all the stuff that you want from your YouTube channel is the actual content. So because of that, focus all of your efforts on the content, but definitely make sure that you go through and you fill out all the boxes. It's not going to be something to where you change like a channel tag and then all of a sudden your channel is going to blow up. Right. That's going to happen from your video content.
Guys, why do you think everyone keeps asking about whether like tags matter versus if it didn't matter, the form wouldn't be there? Why don't we just assume that literally everything matters? Because generally in life, yes, one thing matters more than the other, and the viewer experience is the thing that matters more than anything else, like you're saying. But think about it for a second. Is everyone just trying to really get out of another 5 or 10 or 15 minutes of work after putting 4 hours into a video? And because what's the point of that? What's the point of trying to get out of another 5, 10, 15, or even 30 minutes of work on something that you want to keep performing for you for years or weeks or months or a lifetime or whatever it is? It's like, if something's going to exist in the world for the next 12 months, what's the problem with spending another 30 minutes on it?
Our next guest registers a 9 out of 10 on the Clooney scale, but he'll also help you leverage YouTube for your business. Ladies and gentlemen, Owen Video.
There he is.
Hey man, I just want to give a shout out to Blockbuster. That's what I'm saying, right?
man.
I'm just gonna give a shout out to Blockbuster.
I like
What's
to recognize abject failures on my chest.
What's going on? Owen Video in the house. What's up, dude? Doing
Good
well?
to see you guys. I thought I would jump in between brunching. I thought in between mimosas I would duck in.
So that's multiple mimosas, which means if you're brunching, does that mean that you're doing multiple brunches or that you have like one brunch?
Yeah, it's like club hopping when you're 40.
Okay.
So you know what? I'm looking forward to it.
Grab a little
If
bit of
that's
brunch,
how it
get a little
is,
bit
if that's how it is, I'm 37. If that's how it is, let's go.
So welcome.
I have moved past brunching in my old age, and I'm just straight hard liquid at this point.
It's like whiskey from the bottle.
Straight from the bottle, yeah.
Good stuff. Owen, you ready to answer some questions, man?
Yeah, man. Good to be here with you guys today. I actually just ran a test
Owen,
on tags.
did he pause for real, or is he just sitting there like that? Oh no,
No,
he was paused for real.
Am I back again?
Nope, he's good.
You
Tag-
are.
back again. We just
Back
ran
again.
on tags, interestingly enough. And I did 2 videos. I did how to split test titles with TubeBuddy and then how to split test thumbnails with TubeBuddy. And I put no tags on the thumbnail one. And I think this is really good for any small channels because I have maybe a mid-sized channel that functions as a small channel. The title video did very well, 1 out of 10. Thumbnail video couldn't get past 7. And I just couldn't help but wonder if it was those tags. Did those tags, not putting the tags in that video, prevent it from getting into that same sort of search bucket?
I would argue that if you wanted to look into that, I would look more at the impressions that something gets if I'm worried about keywords and tags and metadata in general, because my belief is this. My belief is looking at the function of, because again, keywords and tags are not something that's unique or original to YouTube. That's the first thing people need to get out of their heads. It actually is very old school, and it even goes back before the internet to internal systems, even back to the card catalog in a library, the inventory at any retail establishment. We used to, when we had to do retail and we had to do inventory, there were keywords and tags. And I worked at a bookstore, and I worked at retail in the mall as a kid, and I worked at a shoe store. I worked at Champ Sports. I did all the things. Like, keywords and searchable categorization and contextualization matters in every one of those retail systems. It matters when you're trying to find stuff on Netflix. It matters when you're shopping on Amazon. And if you've never been an Amazon seller, or you've never been a seller on any e-commerce platform, keywords and tags actually do matter, and descriptions matter in terms of the surfacing of products, and then also the relationship of related products that are then sold to the next customer and recommended to that customer based on what they bought, what they stayed on terms of a sales page. All of it matters. When I go searching for camera gear, and lenses and everything like that, all of that in systems where I have to buy things, Amazon, BH Photo Video, Adorama, all of it, it matters. That's why I believe that all systems, all computer systems, and all of these apps function in much the same way, because that's best practices as a web developer. If you've never been a web developer or coder, which I have, then you understand that. So when people are trying to ignore tags on YouTube, I think that their only relationship and their only thought is, am I getting more views or am I not? And that's the only thing they measure. And that's why they look at big YouTubers, which is totally out of context. Big YouTubers themselves, their damn name is a search term that's going to surface them.
Right.
It's irrelevant. So like, everybody's thinking of this in the wrong way, because they're thinking about a result versus they're thinking about the process and what this functionality is supposed to do. And this functionality isn't designed to give you views. This functionality is designed to categorize and contextualize a piece of information in the same way that it contextualizes a product. It's designed so that somebody can go to the library, and even if they don't know the name of the book, if they know the author, or if they know even the publisher, or they know the genre, that there's a chance that they might find what they're looking for. Or if they know a line or a quote from a book, maybe they'll be able to find what they're looking for. Why would a piece of video content be any different?
Boom. Love it. So let's see your next. Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, can I share my screen really quick?
Yep. Coming up. Are you safe to share right now?
I am safe to share.
Getting ready to hit it. All right. There you go. Bam.
Right. So this is inside of YouTube. Everybody has the same thing here. And you can see what YouTube specifically says about tags. They say, and I just pointed the arrows there, tags can be useful if content in your video is commonly misspelled. Otherwise, tags play a minimal role in helping viewers find your video. That's directly from YouTube. That's inside YouTube Studio. Note they didn't say it plays no role, but they did say it plays a minimal role. I just wanted to share that really quickly so everybody.
You know, they contradict that in their own, but in the YouTube Creator Academy,
in the video they did, yeah.
But in the YouTube Creator Academy itself,
when they talk about YouTube search, they lean on tags in the Creator Academy also.
Exactly. They actually so the thing is they're giving conflicting information on that. And the YouTube Creator Academy is updated. It's not the deprecated information that used to be in the YouTube Creator Playbook, which they stopped publishing, and they also scrubbed the old playbook from the internet, but I still have my copies, which used to give a lot of insight into the algorithm. And the thing is, it does mention that search and discovery has to do with using metadata, and also it even mentions captions. Something people don't talk about is captions. Yeah. So using all of that metadata, which includes the descriptions, and it also does include playlist, which no one also talks about. So you see, this is what I mean about contextualization, and I know why they're saying this. A lot of it has to do with the fact that people have too much anxiety around this, but it's also that most people are just doing it wrong, which is what makes it irrelevant anyway, because most people are just throwing a single word, or they're throwing PewDiePie's name in there. If 90% of people are doing something wrong, of course they're going to de-emphasize it and they're going to tell you to ignore it. But that doesn't mean that there's not a practical function or use case for it. And also, if it is something that they feel can be used to manipulate a system, they're going to discourage its use.
Right. You know, in Daryl's program, go ahead. No, we don't need to beat this dead horse. Go ahead.
Yeah, that horse is laying there like, come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Dead horse.
Come on, guys. Yeah, so Dole Whip Dad says, you mentioned an embargo. What is a YouTube embargo? That basically is when the companies have the influencers sign contracts saying that they can't make videos about something. They can't publish a video about something until a specific day and time. And that's so that people don't leak stuff out and things like that. And so that they can just basically bombard the internet with the awareness about the new thing that they have. So if it's a new camera, in Elgato's case, like the thing that they just did, it's their new box or whatever.
Their new face cam.
Or the camera. So basically all that is it's to where content creators will get early access to things, and they have to sign contracts saying that they are not going to publish those videos until a certain day and time. That's it.
I don't click on any of those when that happens. When I open up YouTube and I see that an embargo's been lifted, all I see is a big scroll of commercials. And I'm like, nope.
Well, I mean, Geraldine Dunn does the best.
If it's something where if it's something I'm interested in, then I'll click on it. But if it's something where I'm like, nah, I probably wouldn't use that anyway, then I don't care. But if it's something that I'm interested in, then I will sometimes.
Did you guys watch any of the face cam videos, any of the new Elgato videos?
Nope.
I didn't.
I did. I watched a couple of them just to support some. I watched a couple of them to support some Honies, but I didn't really have to watch it because I have one.
Right. He's doing his own real life review. So A+ Russian says, should I use captions in language learning videos? Oops,
Señoras y señores, mi hermana de la misma madre.
Yeah, you should use captions. So captions, they are an accessibility thing. So that's why you use captions. So when it comes to captions, the idea is that you are putting captions in your videos for the sake of making it easier for the people that want to consume your content in whatever way they want to consume it to be able to consume your content in that way. You're also making it possible for people that are hard of hearing or have no hearing or have, if you have language learning videos, I would actually caption it in the language. Like if you're teaching people how to speak Russian, but you're presenting in English, for example, if you're teaching English speaking people how to speak Russian, then in that case, I would actually do the captions in English so they can make sure that they, understand what it is that you're talking about, or maybe mix it. But actually, no, I wouldn't mix it, because if they're trying to learn the language, they're not necessarily trying to learn how to read and write. So because of that, I would do it in the language that you're teaching in, not in the language that they're trying to learn. But the idea, though, with captions is, there's some people that will watch your videos when they're, like in the car with their family. Maybe it's a kid in the back seat, or maybe it's a significant other over in the passenger side, or maybe they're laying in bed next to somebody when somebody's trying to sleep, or maybe they're on a public bus and they're just looking at their phone and they forgot their headphones, so they're going to watch it with captions. But there's a lot of different use cases for people to use captions. So the whole idea, it's just all about accessibility and making your content easier to consume for people in whatever way they want to consume it, with whatever, like if they want to read to follow along, you want to give them the ability to do so.
There is a big business. I was at ClamorCon like 3 weeks ago, and the opening speaker was a company, or is a company, that specializes in taking your content into new countries, right? So it's like, we'll take your content and translate it, subtitle it, caption it in Indian for you, in Russian for you, and vice versa. If you're Russian, we'll get you into the American market. If you are in like language learning, I think that is like this hidden gold mine right now. Not that you have to work with this company, but why did that company get started? Because they can see that this globalization thing is like growing at an exponential rate. And so if you're like teaching people Russian, hey, Stansberry, if you're teaching...
Hey, Jessica, you want to come on? Hey, if you want to come on, Jessica, I'll send you a link. I'll send you like a Twitter DM or something if you want to come on.
Going back to what Roberto said, like, if you're teaching Russian to English speakers with like maybe 25, 35 extra minutes a week, you could be teaching Russian to another language by just running it through a software. You know what I mean? So that's just a great business to be in. And whatever you can do to make it accessible, like Nick was saying, is, I mean, that is an AdSense. Like this company that presented at ClamorCon, their whole thing was, if you have over 1 million subscribers or whatever, we'll do it for free for 20% of the AdSense. That's like how confident they are in this marketplace. So those language learning channels and whatnot, like Teacher Paul, like that's a big business.
I'm huge in Japan. Just putting it out there.
Hey, David Hasselhoff's got Germany, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I own Japan.
I know Owen's got a country. I don't know about the three of us, but I know Owen's got one.
They love me in North Korea.
North Korea? Yeah, well, it's somewhere, right? It's somewhere.
There's people there that watch me diligently. That's where most of my watch time comes from. So I'm grateful.
They're risking their life to watch you. So it's like an extra. That's right. It's like an extra level of super fans, right?
That's
they're
what
like,
matters.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Means so much more when they're watching from North Korea. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next question here is from
Those views
Mr.
matter. Those views really matter. It's like, hey, what happened? I lost like 20% of my viewership this weekend. What happened to them?
Power outage.
Sorry, I mean no disrespect to the North Koreans.
That was great.
Yeah.
So Mr. Cake says that it is gaming content, and the goal of the channel is to be able to make videos that a lot of people can be entertained by. The question, my goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by 2022, but I do not feel confident that I will get there. How do I increase momentum so I can be more confident? I would actually try to work that in reverse. That's my recommendation. So if you build your confidence up in terms of knowing that you're giving value to people, knowing that you've been working on your skill sets and that you are putting out content that is to the best of your ability right now at this point in time, and you understand that you're going to get better because everybody does. Like when you first start your YouTube channel, if you go to any of your favorite content creators, you go and watch the first videos on their channel, rough in most cases. So everybody gets better. And if they're not rough, they're still better now. So, when you are first getting started, you are going to have to go through that learning experience, so to speak, and you're going to have to get that footing. But I recommend that you actually try to build your confidence up first, because then that will make you more secure in the content that you're putting out, which means that you're going to be more likely to reach out for collaborations. That means that you're going to be more likely to do more like outreach versus just publishing something and just kind of waiting for something to happen, right? So because of that, I would actually try to work on the confidence side more so than anything else with what it is that you're doing right now. Because if you need momentum to get confidence in what it is that you're doing, then that means that your confidence can be shattered if there is a change in the future. Whereas if you build your confidence first, then through, building your skill sets, knowing, hey, I know how to edit videos. I know that I can make a piece of content that people enjoy. Then that makes you rock solid going into the future. And if something happens with your YouTube channel, you can either make a new one, you can hop on another platform or whatever, because you're confident in what it is that you're able to do. Anybody else have thoughts?
I would say that if you're setting this goal specifically for the idea that you want to, then if I have this, I will therefore be more confident. The thing is, you're going to keep moving that goalpost, and it's never going to feel enough, because you're going to get to that 50,000, and then you're going to be like, you're not going to feel differently. You're going to feel great for like 5 minutes, and then you're not going to feel differently, and then you're going to feel like you need something else to validate you if that's what's validating you. Whereas what you should be doing, in my opinion, is you should be working on your internal work and your confidence to begin with, because that internal work is going to produce better external results regardless of what the feedback from other people is. You're going to be producing a better product. So I want you to respect the process and the product more than you care about the feedback, because the feedback when it comes to YouTube in terms of views and subscribes and all of that has largely almost very little to do with you and how other people feel about something, which is not really that much within your control. Or when you start chasing and going for that off of certain things, you're letting other people decide a lot of things about what you do and who you are, versus doing the thing that you want to do and living with what the outcomes are. So I would just rather you really focus on trying to make the best thing you can make, come what may. Now, that doesn't necessarily, when you said, well, I want to do this or I want to do that in terms of a pragmatic goal. If you want to do YouTube full time, what you don't need is subscribers. You need your content to start making money. And the thing is, you can make money outside of the relationship of having a certain amount of views and a certain amount of subs. You just need a business model that supports that. And the thing is, you don't have to be in a make money online niche or anything for that to work. You just have to reverse engineer what actually is practical and successful in terms of the consumers in your niche versus the casual viewers. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's good, man. Now, was that question about 1,000 subscribers by 2022?
Yeah, basically, I'll repeat the question. The question is, my goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by 2022, but I don't feel confident that I will get there. How do I increase momentum so that I can be more confident?
So, we're like all about those small channels at our company. Like, we're all about getting you to your first 1,000. And a real first of all, Roberto's 100% right. The same people that are like, dude, I hate your set. You'll change your set for them and they'll never watch again. They'll never compliment you again. So like, feedback is nothing.
I got a bunch of feedback about making a merch video. I did, and it's like number 8 right now.
Yeah, I did the same thing with my brand deals. People are like, make more videos about brand deals. Make more videos about brand deals. I did. Cricket.
Nobody watches them.
Cricket.
Right?
You know what I mean? And so it's this, you got to be really conscious of that. Follow the data. So here's like something really tactical for the asker of that question. Go into your analytics, arrange your videos by subscribers and see which video got you the most subscribers. Dig into that topic 10 videos deep or 6 videos deep, like what works for our clients. Our clients are largely like authors and podcasters. They're not like necessarily like the average creator. You know what I mean? They're already famous somewhere else and they're trying to grow onto YouTube, but this is what we tell them. It's like, you've got this video that got you, 25 subscribers last month. Make 10 more of those, right? The answer is typically more videos deeper on a subject, right? So if that's helpful to you, maybe that's something that will get you to that next level.
I mean, I went from 20,000 to 75,000 in 1 year. You were there for this, Owen, and everything. And you remember what I did. I went from posting 1 video a week to posting 5 to 7 videos a week, which is not, by the way, that's not what I'm recommending to do. Not without a doctor's note. But the thing is, I realized that in general that, and people still don't believe this, so take this with a grain of salt. I found for me that whenever if I'm doing something and it's producing a measurable, trackable result, because I did a video a week for a year, got to 10,000, did a video to 1 to 2 videos a week for another year, got to 20,000. It occurred to me that I'm like, well, what if I just quintupled my output and I actually quintupled my result? But that's what, after I established what was working. To Owen's point, if you know what's working, double down. Now, if I had quintupled my result, but also had said, I'm going to pare down my content to only what is working the most, I did 5 times the videos, but I also did whatever the hell I wanted. So I didn't I used analytics, but I didn't obsess over it. If I had obsessed over analytics, I might have gotten an even better result.
Right.
I'm not telling you to do 5 times the work, though. I am telling you that Owen is right about if you find what works and you replicate it. The thing is, if you replicate what's working and then you multiply what's working, you can multiply that result.
By the way, I appreciate that heads up for Roberto saying Owen was right. I need to hey, can you go back and pull that out of the recording? But I didn't do that when I was growing
right now. That would be a great thing to pull. Yeah.
We need that soundboard.
I just want to make it clear, I was that creator that didn't do it. I was getting all sorts of great results, and I didn't look at my data, and it's put me into the little pickle that I'm in today. Now I've got a couple different channels, and that's okay. But I did a whole video on how I wasted 2 years because I didn't look at the data. And so I really want to encourage you guys to become analytic geeks. And it's not every number, right? It's like impressions, click through, ranking, traffic sources, look at those things and then duplicate results. It's not, wow, this video is taking off. Then why do you think? Form a hypothesis and then duplicate it. Try to duplicate it. That's our process, right? You get a video that skyrockets. Can you do that again? Right? That's, I think, a good way to go about building the channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, superstar, vlog extraordinaire, and YouTube coach, Benji Travis. What is up, Benji?
Hey, Benji.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to see you. What's up, Owen? D? It's been a while.
How you doing?
It's been too long, brother. How are you? Great to see you. Who are these other guys? Let's just have our own conversation.
Yeah, you guys go for it. All right, here, I'll opt myself out of this one.
Oh, shit. So,
Look at that.
What's up? Hey, by the way, I like your shirt.
Thank you so
Throwback.
much. A little bit of a throwback to the Friday nights of the past. Did you ever go to Blockbuster and wait for the movie to be returned? The hit movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As a kid, I would just wait there for sure because they'd only have 2 or 3 of them sometimes,
Yeah. Somebody brings it in, you grab it, these big bricks.
And they would check the bin when you go and you're like, hey, do you have this? And then they would go, oh, I don't know. Let me check the bin. And then they would go and check the return bin. Yeah, it was great.
Be kind.
The memories. Yeah. Man, before you could just pull up your little magic mirror device thing in front of your face and then beam it to your magic TV thing over there then just watch whatever it is that you want out of the entire universe of content that's been created. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing time that we live in.
These kids don't know anything about that.
I have just one question for all of you guys. Do you spend more time choosing what you're going to watch on Netflix, or did you spend more time walking through Blockbuster? Which one took you more time?
On Netflix, sure. Yeah.
Isn't that ironic? It takes us.
I'll spend more time on Netflix figuring out what I'm going to watch than watching the actual thing that I decided to watch.
I'll give up. I'll watch so many trailers that I'm like, well, that was 2 hours. I'm going to go outside now, But
that's the power of social pressure. You're standing there too long, you're going to look suspicious. But that's, again, just a segue back to the topic. That's the amazing thing about YouTube. They don't even let you choose. It's just hey, you guys, you're too dumb to know what you want to see. Here's a whole bunch of stuff. Right? I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I just tap. Yeah.
That's the algorithm in a nutshell. Figuring out what dumb people want to watch next.
You're a moron.
That's YouTube algorithm. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah.
And TikTok's on steroids comparatively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love TikTok.
I saw somebody, I don't know if there's a reference or a meme or something, but somebody was talking about TikTok being like YouTube on Adderall. That was really funny.
That's great, actually.
Is what it was. I can't remember. All right. So next question that we have here is from Learn Spanish World. Says, Roberto helped me grow my channel to 50,000. He also helped me discover you, Nick. Roberto is awesome. Says, I love this guy. Says, my channel has slowed down a bit. And by the way, you guys can hire Roberto, awesomecreatoracademy.com, by the way. But he says, my channel has slowed down a bit. How can I reactivate it again? New formats, ? Roberto, this is all you, my man.
Hello? Roberto?
Hello?
Sorry, I had myself muted because sorry. Okay. So one of the things I would look at is I would look at your current traffic sources. The main thing is also considering that for you as an education channel, search is going to still be important to you, but the majority of traffic does tend to come from the YouTube homepage. So I would start thinking about that content that will appeal to the average person that is just randomly coming across the YouTube homepage. I would also really consider what would be relevant and popular phrases and things that you can tie to just general current culture, not a current event right now, but just where the world is right now, and something that is useful and helpful and relevant to that. I would also consider maybe doing a format that is some type of listicle format, something that would like help people in terms of like maybe 10 or 15 words they can learn today in Spanish that they can use in everyday conversation, and figure out how to make that listicle video and maybe make that a recurring video, because people love like 15 tips or 15 reasons or 15 ways and things like that. It's a very popular format. I've done very successfully with 5 and 10 and 12. 15, I think, is the new thing, and I feel that it also gets enough watch time for YouTube to really push and recommend videos. Alux is a great example of this. Like, I'm literally just taking the whole 15 ways, 15 reasons, 15 like tips, that whole thing, because it works. With you, I would definitely say that if you do things that can appeal to more casual viewers, and then if your delivery is good, you can take casual people that didn't know who you are, and then you can convert them to people who become part of a loyal audience. It won't be the majority, but the thing is, this will just extend your reach. If you don't like what's happening with everything else, the answer is, if you're making quality content that people can trust, then you need to really focus on a method that allows you to get more traffic, and you need to think about where that traffic is coming from and what is most likely to increase it. The tactic for the homepage is to appeal to casual viewers in a topic, title, and thumbnail. Search, you probably have a good inventory and library of that, but you could always use playlists to enhance your abilities in search. You could also look at doubling down on things that in terms of searchable topics and things, and try to find out what's being searched outside of your channel itself, just what's being searched in the world, and then say, how can I take advantage of that?
Yeah,
in terms of suggested playlist and creating also just relationships between your existing videos. Most suggested videos are not about other channels. It is about your channel. That's where suggested traffic really dominates. And then in terms of external traffic, if you're making something that's a good resource, you need to have a presence in the place that your stuff could be shared, not for you to self-promote, but for people to be aware of you so that you can be part of a conversation, so that other people in your community can go there and then advocate and share on your behalf. Reddit being a primary example, but if you're a learning thing, maybe it's other communities, maybe it's Facebook groups. Even consider a Facebook group of your own for people who are trying to learn Spanish for free, and just allow those people in Facebook to utilize your YouTube content and make them aware of it, and build a community around that of people who then will have conversations together. Maybe you host some kind of Facebook live chat and you use StreamYard for free, link in Nick's video down below, and you can have a get together like this, and people can have conversational Spanish on a regular basis, and then that also facilitates the need for the content that you're making in terms of a loyal audience, an external source consolidation. So those are my thoughts.
So good, dude.
There we go.
Love that. Hey, Dr. Stin.
So really quick, Benji Travis.
Welcome to the Nimanati.
So Benji, man, next time you are on, when you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I'm going to verify that you're a member and that you're not some sneaky person just trying to get in there.
I wanted those emojis.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Next question that we have here on the list. There was another super chat that came through asking about the and then we're going to pull them out of the chat. So get your questions ready. Don't drop them yet, but just put a Q in front of your question, because that's how we identify that the questions are for us. But you can drop those right here in a second after we answer this one. But the question here is from Tommy T's Extreme Roller Coasters. And they say, key moments for audience retention is not accurate. The first time you post your video and it shows in the chart, it never changes after that. Why is that? No idea, but it is pretty accurate. But one thing that you also want to make sure that you're doing is actually just click into the see more, and then you can go in there and you can actually see what's going on. You can also sort or change it by the date range as well. So for example, you might get a different response, when you first publish that video, like in the first, like 48 hours or maybe even the first 7 days compared to what you get in the last, 28 days after it's been online for 6 months. So, because of that, if you want to go in and get some, feedback on what it is that you're doing, actually click on the see more so that you can really start, trying to uncover some stuff.
Something to think about too is when people sign off of your video, it's not like you bored them right then. Like there's this crescendo of boredom happening. And so, we tend to look at like that moment where we lost the viewer, where we see these spikes, and we look at what was happening around that, right? Like did what happened 30 seconds before that maybe caused them to start wandering off. And so when we talk about specificity, because like I'll look at a dip and it's right when I change the screen. And it's like, okay, so did I lose them because the screen share was bad? Or was it because the last 30 seconds was sort of like maybe off, and then the screen share was just like, this is a good time for me to move? You know what I mean? Like really forming that critical hypothesis, I think, like why did the viewer leave? I keep a journal in my iPad, like when I'm looking at and just my thoughts out. It's not official or anything. It's just jotting down my thoughts out loud. And like, maybe it's because of this and maybe it's because of that, And so I encourage you guys all to look at sort of not just like that moment of exit, but like what was happening? What was the context around that might help you to discover some new things about audience retention?
Something that I've started doing on my own videos, the past several videos that I picked up from somebody else who gave this tip, is I'll put my phone down right next to the computer, and after I've rendered out the video, I sit down and I watch the video. I start noticing if anything gets my distraction. If I look away, I look away to see what's happening on my phone, if I open another browser, anytime I catch myself drifting off from watching my own video, I pause. I'm like, okay, I just lost my own attention. What can I do here to spice it up? Punch in, do I need to put a graphic here? And I go through and I watch that, and it's increased my audience retention over the past couple of videos where I'm just being mindful of my own actions watching my own video. So if anything catches my attention, I didn't do a good job holding my own attention. How can I expect somebody else to pay attention to my video?
This is a great reference right here. Jessica Stanberry says, it's like a breakup. You don't decide in one moment to leave the relationship. There are some things that led to it, and then there was a final straw that made him leave.
Yeah.
And Jessica say, it's all my fault. Like the whole thing is just my fault.
Yeah. 110% of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But D, like you mentioned some things, like what are some of the things that you do when you're like, okay, I'm losing I lost my own attention here. You mentioned put a graphic, or like maybe you guys can all share, like what are some of the techniques you do to bring that viewer back? Like I usually will put a sound effect. I try to do a thing where they're not looking and then they look back again. What are some things you guys do?
Well, in addition to adding music, to punching in, to zooming out, changing things up, adding a graphic, a lot of times I need to remove something. For my own content, I find that if I'm losing my own attention, I've rambled on about something for too long. So I'll go back to the edit and I'm like, okay, this clip right here is entirely too long. I've rambled on about this one part. How can I trim this down? And then I'll go back and watch it again. And if it feels right, if it works, then I leave it. If not, I'll go back and I'll trim it again. People always ask, how long should your video be? The same person I picked up that tip from editing and paying attention, they'll say, if you have an 8-minute video that could be trimmed down into 6 minutes and it still holds the same amount of information, trim it down to 6 minutes and then go back and watch it. If you can trim it down to 5, trim it down to 5.
Yeah, my wife edits all of our vlogs, and it's almost laughable. I'll have 10 minutes of vlog footage, and she might use like 45 seconds. That's awesome. So one of the things she does in the vlogs to keep it entertaining, keep your attention, is jump cuts, which are obvious to all of us or anybody that's an editor. But if you're not, you don't understand that this kind of TikTok short form nature of content these days isn't just because the kids are doing it. It's just because our attention is so short and we've got so many options. Like you got to get it. Boom, 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 boom. The days of the more cinematic vlogs, the more strung out kind of talking head videos are long gone. You can still do that, but if you're just starting out or you're seeing a dip, you have to go to best practices. So that jump cuts are huge for me. And I always say, don't fall in love with your own content. Realize, like in my case, 90% of it probably doesn't even need to be in there.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Benji just said, I'm not saying that every type of niche has to be fast and all that. Like if you're doing something that's very critical and it's, you have to be very detailed oriented, sure, it's going to be a longer video. You're going to speak slower. You might not have as many cuts, but this is why we have data. YouTube gives us the tools to go in, to look at our audience retention, to look at the graph, to see where people are losing interest, to see where people are skipping or going back and rewatching something. Lean into your data to learn what your audience is doing on your video. You might have to slow it down, or you might have to speed it up, depending on your audience, depending on the type of content that you're making.
Yep.
A good rule for pacing and editing does come from the world of television, which is accustomed us and groomed their mentality about consuming visual media for like the last 70 years or so, whether people keep wanting to say it's dead or dying, and that may be true, but it still paved the way. And if you look at movies and televisions, outside of long action shots or fight sequences or very powerful charismatic monologues like in Scandal, there's something in television usually called the 3-second rule.
Yep.
And the thing is, you could utilize that if you're doing like content that is very talking head, to break it up with either visual cues or sound design or B-roll or motion graphics or things like that, or even literally just a zoom in or a jump cut or something for emphasis. So those things matter. And I would say a good other thing to look at is think about your videos 15 seconds at a time. If you think about your videos 15 seconds at a time, the thing is the short form platforms have now accustomed people somewhat to short attention spans. That doesn't mean make shorter videos. It means process your videos in shorter increments of the whole video that adds up in terms of your pacing. And so really think about the value that's delivered and the experience people are having every 15-second interval of a video, and don't waste their time within that 15-second interval.
Boom. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the live stream today. Hope that you got some value out of this. We are going to go to the after party, which is what happens when we aren't live anymore. So everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you learned something today. And look, if you are a new content creator and you got a bunch of information during this live stream, which I'm assuming that you did, sometimes it can feel overwhelming. It can be like, man, I got all this stuff that I have to do. But I just want to encourage you to know that one, it's part of the process, so embrace it. But two, out of all the information that you got, just take notes on it, but just focus on like a thing or two, because when you try to do like everything all at once, then you can not do things properly by doing it that way. So try to make sure that you are focusing in on just like a few things over the course of, let's say, this week, and then we can meet back up here this time next week as well. So thank you everybody for hanging out. Mods, thank you guys for holding it down. Everybody on the screen, thank you for coming in and sharing your insights as well. And everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Thanks for hanging out.
Adios.
Cheers.